Creator Clash stuff, like the boxing stuff.
Aye, dubs and all that.
And then like a couple other like YouTubers are like boxing each other, and I've watched it. It's awful, right? I was honestly sitting with Sinead watching one, and I was like, Sinead, I'm a well better boxer than most of these people.
Yeah.
See when the podcast massive as it is, right? But see when it gets big enough on YouTube and that, I'm going to like call out like big names, but big names, but small people as well.
Yeah,
people I know,
big name, small people. Yeah.
People I know I can win against.
They're seeing
Well, I mean, that's not. Do you know when I go up with somebody you could potentially lose against, and then you've got a fight, and you actually fight rather than go, I could squash this guy. I'm not going to train.
No, I'm going to fight like wee boys in it.
Things like
boys.
Poland or something like that has like an actual league just for influencers.
There's a guy I watch called Abroad in Japan, Chris Broad.
Yeah, Chris.
His videos are really good, right? But like
he did the chess one.
He did the chess boxing where it's like around the box and around the chess, mate. And like chess is like this new. It's not new, obviously, chess, but it's like it's now zeitgeist again. It's what kids are playing on Twitch. I don't know, but like he boxed, and the boxing was fucking god awful.
It was bad. I remember
real. I'm not like that sounds high and mighty for me. If I was in front of 40,000 people, whatever it was, boxing, probably look terrible as well. But like, I was like, people are paying for this shit.
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, I trained for 6 months. I'm like, 6 months, man.
Eagle Raptor was part of it as well.
Yeah,
and he was fucking rotten too. Like the only people that would see the super mega boys that were on it, like Ryan McGee, he was like the long haired guy. Like he got it all done up in cornrows and stuff. Like, he was fucking great. But
do you know, like
Matt Watson, he was against a guy called Dad.
Yeah,
was fucking jacked, and he got absolutely obliterated. I'm like, that's hilarious. But he knew that going in. He's like, yeah, I knew I was up against a guy that danced and actually was physically peaking. I'm like, do you know what? I'll do these 6 months of training, and I couldn't do jack shit against him.
I know we've started the podcast without an intro, but we could just keep going. By the way, like, we'll just play this off as it was a plan, Hamish.
It's all part of the plan, mate.
Right, the worst cunts are the best boxers, though. Like Jake Paul, Logan Paul. I kind of like KSI, but he's a worst cunt. Like, they're all pretty good at boxing, and I say pretty good in the sense that they definitely beat me. Especially Jake Paul. I mean, he's beat Anderson Silva. I mean, he beat old man Anderson Silva.
Old man Silva.
But I probably couldn't even beat this Anderson Silva that was knocked out.
Old man Silva ain't what it used to be.
No, he definitely isn't, especially since his body is probably fucked.
No, definitely.
Did he do like loads of drugs?
Loads of steroids,
yeah, like he was
not loads of steroids. He wasn't roided up, Anderson Silva,
because it was more after his leg. Basically, it became jelly.
He had that because obviously he would have been put on steroids to help with the injury. So
because again, I know like when it comes to like fighting for that, like, that's a big factor for it. Like the recovery, like generally when you've got a big breakage like that, it's very hard to come back from that
as you get older as well. So he was like late 30s when it happened. But the other thing is,
bones are all dusty.
Dusty bones.
It's hard to put them back together again.
Especially he's kicked a lot of people in the face.
Yeah.
But before like the big testing, mate, I wouldn't even question if anybody was on steroids. They were all on steroids.
Oh yeah, could you see the size of their heads?
Why wouldn't you be?
A big.
Mate, Tito Ortiz's head is just. It's the moon. He's got a moon head.
It's its own weight class.
There was that period of time when I was like a big Chuck Liddell fan. Still am, but he's old and stuff now. And I hated Tito Ortiz.
You still do?
Do you remember, Dom, we were playing that game of Halo 3?
Yeah.
And the guy was called Tito. I swear to God, I've never played such a fucking badass game of Halo 3 in my life. I think I was top scorer by like 15 points.
And it was all the same guy.
I kept chasing this guy. I was on the ghost. I just kept running him over, and I think he was running away at one point, and I'm like, he's thinking, who the fuck is this guy? Like,
he even sent you a message afterwards.
It might still be on my Xbox.
Probably. Immortalised. You got it hanging on your wall. He's
absolutely bullying a poor guy.
Who'd you fight, Hamish?
Who would I fight? Anyone?
Create a clash that, like, say if someone, Hamish, you got to fight some influencer. Who would you fight?
I don't know, lots of influencers. I would say Andrew Tate, but he actually did kick.
He's really good.
You can do it for the clout, though. I mean, if you bring a gun to the Create a Clash, you don't have that as a rule, do you?
No, is he?
I really don't know.
These are registered weapons because they're handguns.
I don't know many influencers, to be honest.
Hamish is a bit of an old man, personally, aren't you? Like
spiritually,
you're an old man.
I mean, how do you mean?
Well, you just don't know.
Traditional, mate. Traditional. It's a lot of pish in it,
It's just new age celebrities. Yeah. That's kind of what it is.
Yeah, I would say, like, if you were going to go and fight somebody, you need to fight somebody and make it a good match. But that's the problem is, like, when you have those influencers that are fighting, they're always going to be one that doesn't bother their arse. There will be one, the both of them won't bother their arse. They're like the only good ones that would try. Like, they had that, was it the doctor guy? He was fighting somebody and that was a decent match, but then it's hard. Like, if they came to us and you got 6 months to train for a boxing match, like, are you going to stop working? Is it all going to...
Yeah, that's like Logan Paul and Jake Paul fucking get the best fucking trainers, the best of this, best of that. Yeah. Fucking, if you're a guy just training and you're going to your local gym, like even, Eddie Hall, the strongman.
Yes.
So when you thought Thor Bjornsson, I watched all his videos because I quite like Eddie Hall. I think he's hilarious.
Oh, he's a good guy.
Mate, I could, even me, the amateur boxing lover and the guys that boxed when he was like a teenager and stuff like that, I was like, he's doing this all wrong. He brought in some random guy, one guy, and just hit pads all the time, and then just did try to do a load of cardio, but at his weight it was difficult.
Yeah, not a lot. Yeah.
And I was like, he needs to be going to a boxing gym and getting punched up. Like, he needs to be getting punched up. He needs to be sparring. He needs to go to different coaches.
He know what it's actually like to get hit. And
yeah.
That's the big fear for it as well. Like, see when we were doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu,
yeah,
and we had like the boxing ring that was there. Like, we had, like, the guy who was teaching us, like, I'll go gentle on you was the words he would use, and he'd fucking batter the shit out of you. But
he enjoyed it.
He did enjoy it. That was some sort of pleasure he got from it. But, like, when it came to the teaching part, then, yeah, you do need to, like, realise that when you're in a match like that, you're going to get hit. Like, you're not like Ippo. You're not going to be, like, swaying and doing, like, the manoeuvre. It's not like anime, And especially if the first time that you actually get hit or get in trouble is against an opponent that's actually trying to beat you properly, then you're just going to get flustered and you're fucked, basically.
How many times we punch each other in the face, Hamish?
Aye, but we know it's coming. Cause we fucking hate each other.
Just like, who's pairing off for sparring? And me and him was just staring at each other.
Already swearing at each other.
like the Nile just split.
Fucking main event.
So you got that bell? Dang.
do you know a couple of people like take it half seriously because it's like gym fucking ego in there.
Yeah.
Like there used to be one guy, we all know him. You all friends with him, Andy.
Yeah,
Every time you spar him, but I won that one. You're like, shut up, man! Like, what do you mean you won that one?
Definitely, mate.
It'd be like blowing at his arse, like unable to breathe, lying on his back,
on the ground when they're standing up, all right.
After he's just tapped out, and he's like, I won that one. What?
I think I beat you there. Like, you're the one crying.
But I think it's when it comes to 6 months of training. That's a lot. Anyone can do that, but the problem is, in a realistic sense, and you don't have that research, or you don't have the nutrition guide or the time. Because again, how many hours is it they say for each minute for a boxing match you need to train for 1,000
hours? It's by each minute you need to train
100
for 3 minutes, so it's like a round for every minute.
Yeah.
And the round, technically, it's pretty dumb. It's not real, but the thing about you're saying 6 months is a long time, mate. It's way longer than that. Learning how to punch and learning how to take a punch is it takes years. Technique with a punch, people don't get it.
Yeah. Because again,
saying this like I'm fucking Roy Jones Jr., but
no, you've got some sort of background and understanding on because when people punch, the amount of times you see people with their thumbs out, when they're I'm going to punch, and you're like, no, you close them in and make sure, because that's the first thing that'll break if you try to hit somebody.
And they swing for the shoulder, and they don't move their hips. And
they don't rotate their foot when they're going in for a hook or for an uppercut and stuff.
It's technique stuff, but you can.
We know that because of experience of
because we're badass Street Fighters.
Yeah, of course.
Streets of Rage was based on this podcast.
Yeah, is it? I remember when I was dancing in Japan, they're like, we're going to make a video game of that, and Streets of Rage remake came out of that as well. I mean, that was out before, but we're not going to talk about that.
Even studying technique and stuff like that, though, when you get tired, then your technique gets sloppy and stuff like that. So it's totally different. Just
endurance.
Even if you can throw one perfect punch, that doesn't mean you're going to be flawless for the whole match.
No, definitely not.
And that's when you get sloppy, and that's when you get your hands drop down, then you get punched in the face.
So many, I say memories. So many flashes of the 2 hours into training and your hands are by your waist and you're like, I don't care if I get punched, I am tired.
Yeah.
It's more effort to hold my arms up than it is to get punched in the face right now. That's how tired I am.
So put your hands up, you're like,
My original thing with this was I can't believe people are paying to watch these people that don't know how to box fight each other.
Yeah.
And no one's paying to watch boxers fight each other anymore.
Well, I think it's more because now boxing has been, not glamorized, I would say. I think boxing's became a bit boring.
It's isolating. Each fighter's isolated now. They don't really want to come together and fight.
Unless it's like big bucks, big mega bucks and that. Like, you had like Tyson Fury's generally the only one I can think of recent memory, him and like AJ.
Yeah, they're no fight. I don't think they'll fight for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know, actually. They probably are they not scheduled to fight.
They're scheduled, but then.
But I know what you mean, though. It's like the only kind of big fights are the big, like, quote unquote super fights. Where it's like, champions from each thing. And it shouldn't be that. There should be a competitive, interesting division, like all the way through, not all the way through the ranks, but
Chris Eubank Jr., was he still doing
he
stuff?
Beat last week.
Yeah, so like.
Anyway, when did this become a sports podcast?
If you're talking about that, we fucking know it.
I was just wanting to see, like, do you think, use if someone offered you that, is there someone you'd fight, and do you think you'd do well?
You know how I'd fight? Bad Baby.
Bad Baby?
No intergender fights here.
Right.
I'd let her fucking knock me out. I don't know anyone, like, if there's anyone I would I could
Mr.
take.
Beast. I think I could take Mr. Beast.
You think
Oh,
Mr. Beast?
100%.
Yeah, he's just some guy, isn't he? Like, he's got money, but he's like just a weedy wee guy.
Like, have you seen the Twitter stuff?
Nah,
Like-
I mean, I'm not on Twitter. I'm old, remember?
Yeah, I was old in spirit.
Old in spirit, yeah.
But like, he did a video where he cured 1,000 people's blindness.
Oh, yeah, I've seen about
right?
that.
Which, on the face of it, that's super nice.
Yeah. It was like
But
it was a simple procedure that you could do for a lot of people who have like cataracts, like in their eyes. It's basically their skin that's just over their eyes. They just remove it,
Yeah,
and it clears it up. It's
I
something,
can do that. Just
but, like,
give me some tweezers.
but
If
they're
you
like so
scra-
much money it costs to
Have
do
you
it.
scratched the surface of that? That it took a YouTuber to want, like, because he's there to make money and for his brand and stuff.
Yeah.
He's doing something nice, but like to do that, like it's like RoboCop style dystopia shit. If you know what I mean, like, oh, this YouTuber's like, I've helped 1,000 people, and you're like, why were you the one that has to help people, and how have you got how have you, random boy, got the money when these people don't? And like, you're just like, that's too many questions about the world we live in.
Well, I mean, that's someone that's smart and knows like entrepreneurness and like,
Don't
as
make
a brand.
me
as a,
get
as
my
a brand.
fucking Karl Marx books out, mate.
No, again, like that's what it is. Like
gets
people
his
are paying
books.
off.
The only thing is, just anytime I see that, and maybe I'm just being cynical, but I just think, like, why you, like, if you really wanted to do it for good, you wouldn't be posting it up on YouTube and stuff like that.
Aye.
It's those videos that you get of people like, oh, look, we're going to go and give this homeless guy
He's probably not a bad
$50
guy.
and stuff like that. And it's like, why don't you just give him it? Why do you need to film yourself and post it just to be like, look how nice I am?
Yeah,
But
I understand why you want to punch him.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
like, you totally take him as well.
Aye,
It's a little bitch.
I don't.
Yeah.
I want
Do you know what will
punch a lot
happen?
of people, but
You turn around like, "Hey, Hamish, I'll give you 50 grand and you take a dive." He'll take a swing, and he'll miss Hamish, and Hamish will just jump out like that with a truck.
Like, I've got one.
I would take a dive for 50 grand, definitely.
100%, man. Like,
I'd do it for 50 pence.
like 50 grand, I'm like, you've shot way over my price. If you, do you know, you remember, you won't, obviously, but like, you remember Sargon of Akkad? Mad crazy, like,
Just getting weeby already, man.
no, he's like an alt-right
All right.
kind of guy. He ran for like UKIP in England and
okay,
stuff.
right.
Yeah.
A wee cunt, right? Just a general wee cunt.
If he's running for UKIP, yeah.
And like he just was like, I don't know. I know obviously his political opinions, whatever, right? But just his attitude and his face, I was like, this. Like, his opinions are bad, right? But like, even if he was silent, I'd be like, that guy needs his face punched in.
It's just something
Like, just something about the face.
Yeah,
It just needs a good punching.
So that's my only reason for doing anything. Like, I'm trying to get to that level where I can challenge him in a fight.
Hey, 6 months, no bother.
6 months.
But he's not an influencer, is he?
He
In the wrong kind of ways.
influences in the wrong ways. He's like one of them fucking
But
radicalizers.
if we're talking like YouTube influencers,
Aye,
you obviously had one in mind if you brought up this question. So,
Yeah.
Well, him was. I've thought about it for a while.
who's that guy?
Dankula?
Yeah,
Aye, Dankula would be fine, man.
Aye,
Big fucking
Fanny.
fanny for Coat Bridge.
Oh,
See if
yeah,
he-
that
see-
was like-
see if he gets this clip, he's going to put us up to all his fucking viewers and be like, look at these idiots from you. Difference is we can drive to his house.
I don't think we need to worry about him listening to us.
I doubt it, aye.
But I would do it, like, just for the 6 months. For someone to fight, that Game Theory guy, Matt Pat. I'd fight Matt Pat.
The smallest guy.
Hey, yeah, Matt Pat. I'd fight him.
You could probably pick most like gaming influencers, like apart from the kind of big ones. And
Oh,
they're
Marcus
probably all gonna
Brownlee.
be,
What about him? I'd beat him up as well.
like, kind
Marcus
of
Brownlee. He's a
nerdy
nice guy.
guys that
Aye,
are
he's a
easy
nice
enough
guy,
to
but
beat
like,
up,
again, yeah, but I'd be like, yeah, man, like,
Linus.
you like phones, I sell phones. Let's beat the shit out of each other.
You like phones, I sell phones.
let's fucking go. But I mean, like, if it's anyone, like, yeah, something like, I think he would
Linus
be up
Tech
for it.
Linus Tech Tips.
Aye, Linus, the Canadian guy.
He's tiny as well. Like, Tom's-
Wait,
Dom
is
said
Marcus
just-
small?
As long as you like phones, Dom will fight you.
There you go. There you go.
Anyone that likes phones.
Oh,
You're
he
going
just
down.
hates his customers.
You're going down like the service I provide.
Fucking digging up Steve Jobs' corpse to punch fucking.
Come on, Jobs, you ain't shit.
Oh, fucking hell, man. Steve Jobs.
Punk ass Steve Jobs.
I love that Bill Burr sketch where he's like, everyone pure worship Steve Jobs. The only thing he did was go to some smart people and go, I want all my music collection in this iPod. Make it happen.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't hear any thinking in there. I love that shit. I love Bill Burr.
Oh, he's brilliant. Like, absolutely phenomenal, Bill Burr.
Do you know, like, see when he does his, like, you probably listen to his Monday morning podcast stuff, like,
Yeah, I haven't
Like-
for a while, but I used to listen to it.
aye, because you kind of get a gist of it after a while, and you're like, oh,
It's a shame because, like, see if we were big into, like, American football and stuff like he is, he's so passionate about that. I think I'd be really be interested in what Bill has to say, but most of the time he's, like, talking about American football
and
or
it's trash.
bit of baseball, and it's not, like, great basketball ones. I can't remember who. I think it's Lakers he's a big fan of.
I don't know.
I think he likes
no,
like,
Celtics.
Is it Celtics?
He's
Yeah,
from
well,
Bush.
he is from Boston, but it's like
I think he talks about a lot of college ball as well. though,
It's
so,
called,
like,
that's
It's
what
that,
it is.
it's that trash American culture. No. That non-existent American culture.
Well, I mean, college then they go on to the big leagues, so if they're any good,
Yeah.
They get exploited in college and then sent to the big leagues.
yeah, exploited, making
Millions.
tens,
think they
of,
make-
tens of thousands.
I don't think they make money in
Aye,
college,
but they can eventually. Like,
but like most of them don't.
yeah, well,
They get endorsements
should,
now.
They should get better then, shouldn't they?
Yeah, they get endorsements.
Alright,
now.
fucking
They made
Steve
it-
Jobs sitting there.
Did they not make a whole thing about 5 years ago where they were saying college players from like, American football, basketball, and all of this?
Yeah, they
like,
can't.
ones
They
get
couldn't
money?
sign endorsement deals, and
Yeah, but now they
now they can't. I didn't know, but like,
Yeah.
I think they were going like, all right, the college is obviously using their name and their face and the likenesses in like it was computer games as well,
Games, yeah.
and making money,
Yeah,
and they were like, well, you're making it off me.
off of our
Aye.
name or our likeness or
It's
whatever.
wild how we get into this. This is a gaming podcast.
Yeah.
I'll talk about
You
that.
always say this, but we just talk about it. Really,
Yeah.
I don't like to call us a gaming podcast.
Right, this is sort of gaming. Did you see the guy, the big? I'm not a big Twitch watcher. Atrioc. He paid some AI website to make porn of his friends who are like female Twitch streamers.
Surely that's massively illegal.
No, yeah, I 100% illegal, but he was caught. I don't know how he was caught. I never saw it, but I saw his apology.
All right.
Oh yeah, I thought you meant
like- I thought
it was
you meant-
Pokemon and someone else.
Cutie Cinderella.
Yeah.
Don't know who. Like, I kind of know who Pokemon is because.
Yeah, you see her outside of Twitch and
Aye.
stuff like that because she's so famous.
Mate, like he was pure like crying about it on Twitch. He's like, I mean, other people are clicking on it too, and they're like, mate, I don't think you're going to explain your way out of this one. There was a lot of decisions made.
Is he trying to say like that makes it okay because other people have seen it? Like that makes it worse.
I think he was saying that he was tempted, like it was a temptation. No, I get temptation, right? You know,
Everyone gets temptation.
You get there's a wee beer in the fridge. Oh, it's a nice wee beer. I'm gonna get that beer.
Yeah.
There's a wee bar of chocolate that's my girlfriend's, and she's knowing, so I'll steal that and eat that. But
That's
I've
on
never.
it's on a slightly different level.
Aye,
isn't it?
exactly.
AI porn. Yeah.
Aye, make an account, send some money. He probably gave them stuff like pictures or whatever as well.
Yeah.
But like, I just found it hilarious that he was like, it's you could just go. I don't know why I did. I fucked up. I find them all very attractive,
Yeah,
and that's why I did it.
Yeah.
Because that's the reason.
Yeah, I was horny and I wanted to see it. Like,
But it's like I couldn't use my imagination. I just needed to see it and see if that would.
But that's
help.
still fucking wild, isn't it?
That's weird. Like it's
like
your pals.
It's weirdly like invasive, even though it's not. But it's like it's not their body, but it's invasive because it's
Aye.
like.
Do you know it's projecting on this sort of
Oh,
appeal?
so
Is like,
fucking
oh,
weird.
I'm going to see you naked anyway by paying some creepy website to artificially make you naked.
AI's going to fuck us, man.
you also need to think like there's the defamation of if that leaks out,
Yeah.
other people see it, assume it's real.
Yeah,
then,
defamation of character. Yeah, you're right.
So
yeah. I don't even think of that. I was just thinking it was very weird to have the guy greet with his
His
partner. Was it his
partner was in the
saying?
video as well. She was greeting him like, Twitch culture is fucked.
Are they Christian? Catholic? Are they religious?
Probably.
Maybe that's maybe one of the reasons why. Because
I make those
it's-
assumptions,
There's guilt, Catholic guilt. You all suffer for that. You know, good old Catholic guilt. They explain that
guilt.
in the Always Sunny podcast and stuff like that.
Catholic guilt.
Yeah, I think Angie always quotes that one. It's good.
I think any religion you should feel pretty fucking guilty for something like that.
Yeah, you can't you do something, you go, oh, I feel bad. Like, get my rosaries out. Just that.
Man, I'm so ignorant of all that stuff when people say like the rosaries and that. I'm like, the fuck's that? Like,
what, rosemary? You put that?
Do you know the only way I've heard
rosemary,
the bead stuff?
It's stripper down in Seventh Heaven on Sunday nights, mate.
Like,
I like that service.
It's the insult that Rangers fans say to Celtic fans is bead rattler, and I'm just like. At first, when I was a kid, I was like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
And then, it's because they've got rosary beads, and I was like, still? Like, what's this about?
What's significant? Oh, they just like Jesus and stuff like that. Okay, and that's the insult.
The insult is that you're just a Catholic.
Yeah, that's all it is.
You're a Catholic.
Yeah, why did you look me dead in the eyes when you said that?
I don't know. Donaghy.
All the years of hate between them, though, like... Come up with something better than that.
Come on, get me a patter, boys.
Punch up. That's it. Punch up.
Have we hit any more Hornets nests? Any, like, because we hit the Dankula crowd, the Salagon crowd, KSI, Logan Paul.
Just let it come up naturally, mate. I mean, when we're talking, it does anyway.
Like, any positive news?
Well, how about this? Right, welcome to the Patchison podcast.
Hey.
I'm Hamish, and I'm here with Hugh.
Hi everyone, sorry. I forgot my cue.
We're live, pal.
It being your name.
I was like, who's that guy?
He's like, line.
And I'm here with Dom.
Hey guys.
That was a bit of a weird start, but you know what? Well. It's all good. What have you been up to, Hugh?
Oof, that's a big question. Do you know I've not actually been playing that many games lately? It's so fucking weird, even after I made all that list. Like, I've been chipping away at like games. I played Professor Layton, the first one. I mean, I'm arrogant about my intelligence. I think I'm fucking Stephen Hawking sitting here, but goddamn those first puzzles. And I was like, I'm
difficult,
not,
or
mate. I was like, don't Google these here. Figure that shit out. But man, some of them are so obtuse. They were like, and then they got better. I think like I played the third game and I never had any of those issues. It was just kind of good puzzles. But I think maybe there was a few I was like, I don't know what the fuck it's even asking me today.
Yeah. So it wasn't so much problem solving as an understanding issue. Yeah.
I realised how much I miss playing the DS. It's such a nice wee console.
Yeah, it's certainly like convenient, and it's almost kind of childlike.
Yeah.
You know, not like, you know, only kids can play a DS, but it just kind of.
They did some.
I don't have any responsibilities, you know.
They did some cool shit with it. Like they thought of some cool stuff to do. So chipping away at that, got a couple hours into that. Fucking same with Pokemon. Pokemon's slow, man. See the first gen Pokemon, slow as shit. But still liking it. Still haven't found a fucking fire Pokemon yet, man.
How far are you in?
4 badges now. Can't get a fire Pokemon, man, to save my life.
You know, got like, is it what when you play in red or
red? I didn't choose Charmander because I'm not a fucking bitch.
You're an idiot.
Ponyta?
Where's Ponyta?
Where's Angie? She would know.
Because I was thinking Ponyta, Vulpix, Magmar. Yeah. Magmar's like way later.
Yeah, he's much later.
But that's the glaring weakness in my team here. Obviously, like fucking Green Air, like Angie's going to be screaming like this if they're listening.
There's going to be that pure easy one that we've totally all missed.
This fucking moron.
This fucking calls himself a Pokemon.
Pokemon. We've actually been reading. I read the first Witcher book, finished it, fucking loved it.
The Last Wish?
Yeah, loved it, man. It was so easy to read, obviously, the wee short stories. Like, see, because I know Geralt from the show, like, you kind of have that impression at first, and he's not actually bitter and sad and, like, angry all the time. He's actually quite stoic, and he has he's got a bit of a laugh, a wee bit of arrogance about him as well, which I quite liked.
Like, it's badass, mate.
Like, I loved is it the last story where the guy challenges him, like one of the knights challenges him, but the rules are the king said that Geralt can't hit him. So what Geralt does is hit the guy's sword, and his sword smashes his face. Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I like that." Clever, and like, it just, man, reading, it's like games, but like you don't actually, you're not in control.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Unless it's a choose your own adventure book, you know.
Well,
Yeah,
where
and then
are
she
those?
One of the wee pop-up ones where you get like the wee tabs that you can move the dinosaurs about.
Are you going to have to show me this?
And then, like, see when you go and you're reading a bit and it's a bad ending, you go, my finger didn't leave the page.
Do you know-
All right.
Is that it? Do you remember the old Goosebumps books? That used
Oh,
to-
yeah.
You got, I'll go to page 14 if you want this decision. You're like, oh god, I didn't think there was choices in books.
Yeah, I remember stressing out about ones like that. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I want them all just to be happy.
Too much responsibility for that.
Too much
kind of shit,
anxiety.
yeah.
It's like playing a fucking Telltale game and you're
Oh,
googling
yeah.
like, what does this decision like? Will this decision kill my party?
Yeah.
Like, what did I do that in lately? I can't remember. Like, it was a game. It was like a decision. I was like, I was high on life. Actually, it was like a decision, kill them or not kill them and stuff. And I was like,
Is this actually going to make a difference?
is this got an achievement? And then I looked up and they're like, yeah, this game's got lots of decisions that don't mean anything just to annoy you. And I was like, alright. Well, that was the last time I enjoyed something by Justin Roiland.
I was just there's some news we can get onto the Rick and Morty fans.
Do you know, I've been
there's any
watching
left.
Rick and Morty as well because Sinead never liked Rick and Morty for ages, and I don't know if it was because she wasn't into the characters, like
that kind of humour, or
because Rick's quite like just. You have to know him a wee bit to actually like that kind of gruffness about him, or like the cuntiness, like the gruffness. Him being a cunt, and she was like, this isn't that fun. And then she watched a few episodes with me, and she was like, no, it's actually pretty good. So we went back to the first season, and we watched a few good ones. And then all this stuff came out, and then I was like, I'm still going to watch Rick and Morty. Like it's not going to change it, but like they can't continue this show. Like they can't.
Well, the plan is to. For how long, I don't know.
Are they going to AI fucking voice 40 characters?
I mean, the jokes I was saying is like you'll just get so many white, 20, 30 year olds that can do Rick and Morty impressions, so it's fine. Like you can just easily replace them to do that. But it's more like, did he have a big influence in the writing? Did he have like the improv stuff, which is important, which Rick and Morty usually goes off of?
Yeah.
And he still got that? Are they just going to re-record the lines?
Well, I don't think he actually had a proper writing credit for like the last season or last couple of seasons. So I think it was mostly Dan Harmon that was writing it. And you know, it may actually be good for the show to be entirely Dan Harmon's kind of narrative and stuff like that now.
Because it was Dan Harmon that did Community, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because like his stuff was, I always liked his stuff.
You watched this is a tangent podcast. You watched the It's All Sunny podcast.
Yeah, like
You know
I
the
was just
producer,
mentioning-
Megan, the one that's like. Did you watch the video? Or did you watch?
Oh no, I just hear some of them because it's Andrew put me onto that.
Did you hear the woman's voice?
I've heard her. Yeah,
She's the writer that was on Community that Dan Harmon stalked.
it's hard.
And her husband is Rob McElhenney's friend that is the Wrexham, like he ran Wrexham Football Club for him. Humphrey Kerr, who's also a writer on Always Sunny and stuff. So like,
Wow.
see when I realised that, he's like, because he did a little big thing on his podcast, didn't he, talking about it because it came out, and he was like,
He was really apologetic, wasn't he, of that,
It wasn't
or?
even like an apology, and it was an apology, but it was almost like he was like explaining it, but not like making excuses for it. He was like, I was a fucking idiot. These are the things that you should take away for this. Like, and he's grown from it, hopefully. But like, see when I realised like all those links together, I was like, fucking hell, man. Like,
Yeah.
but
Because
like,
I have heard her voice because it was like they had a clip of like Danny DeVito.
yeah.
It was on it as well as like they finally got Danny on, and then I could
Fucking
hear her.
love
And I was
Danny
like, oh, okay. That makes sense.
If you see any of the clips on like Instagram and stuff like that, she's usually cutting about in the background. Yeah.
Like, because she got really fucked up with it because she was like, she was getting like promotions and like told she was amazing. She was like, I couldn't figure out if it was because
You were good
I was
at
good
it.
at my job
Yeah.
or just because Dan Harmon was
Try to get in there.
trying to get in her pants.
God, that's fucking horrible.
Which he pointed out and he's like apology thing when he was like, I really like messed with her because like she didn't know if she was a good writer because like
Yeah, you shook
Oh,
her
the
own
intentions
confidence.
weren't clear if it was like
Aye.
you're doing it because you're good or you're doing it because
I just want successful men to like stop making bad decisions. I know that's a big ask, right? Because
This-
unsuccessful men.
I was about to say there's plenty of them, but then I was like, Keanu Reeves. I'm out.
Aye. Like even
I think for the voice, what they'll just do is like they'll just make a joke about it. So they'll get someone kind of close, or you know, it doesn't even really need to be close, and then someone will make a comment about it, and then they'll just be like, "Oh, do you not remember we went through that machine that changed the voice forever?" By the way,
Yeah.
And then just like look at the camera.
Can't
or
go
something
back,
like that,
Modi.
like-
I think it
Can't
was
do
just
it. See, I
'Cause
can do it. There you go. That's my audition.
because he's just every voice in that show, pretty
Oh
much.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and it just I was like, fucking hell. Like, I didn't realize like
See, when I was playing High on Life, I actually got a migraine from listening to Justin Roiland, like, just everywhere. I'm like, this guy just needs to shut the fuck up for at least a minute. Yeah. But you turn round, someone will be talking, you look the other way, someone else in his voice talking, and then them telling you off for not listening to them.
But they don't shut the fuck up either. They just keep talking, and you're like, has he got something to say to me? Or like, is he got important for information?
He just loves the sound of his own voice, I think.
Yeah.
But again, that might also be good for the show, getting a more diverse cast, getting more actual voice actors' jobs.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you could always tell, like, once you actually got to learn all of these different voices, you could be like, oh, there he is again, fuck's sake. Like,
yes. Yeah. Do you know who we need? Troy Baker.
He's the Justin Roiland of games, mate.
Bring in Troy Baker.
He's like every voice in every game I've played.
Oh, bring him back. He needs more work.
He needs more work.
But yeah, what was the other one? Solar Opposites thing that's done with him as well, isn't it? Or was that just?
Is that actually? Do you know? I only just found that show on like an app,
Disney Plus.
Like, I just on one of the apps was like, "Oh, you like Rick and Morty? Oh, you like Solar Opposites?" And I was like,
I've
never even heard of this.
Yeah, I watched a couple of episodes. I think I may even talked about it in the podcast. I watched a couple of episodes. I'm like, this is just more the same kind of.
Yeah, you know what you're in for with those kind of shows, you know. And if it's like one of the long breaks that Rick and Morty took when, you know, we were waiting for it, then fair enough, it's good to fill in, but
not great.
It's just like Dom says, it's more of the same, you know what I mean? So it's just background TV. You know, you can put it on
while
you're while you're reading or something like that, you know, and you'll hear a couple of wee funny bits. But I'm sure there's other things as well. There was something, in fact, just new. I think there's only been like one season, or it's just started. He had something to do with, and they've chucked him as well.
Because I didn't realise how bad some of the stuff he did was.
Yeah, I had no idea. Like,
it was like 2 years ago, he battered his girlfriend pretty badly, and then like all these texts came out of all the 16-year-old lassies and stuff like that. He was texting, you're like, come on, man, you don't text. You're like, how dumb are you? Like, honestly, like, I'm not saying hide it better. I'm saying
don't do it in the first place.
Don't do it in the first place, you fucking moron.
Yeah, like, it's that kind of like, oh, I'm untouchable. No one's going to, like, no, mate, you're always accountable for what you fucking do. Just don't do shit like that. You're fucking creep.
Yeah. Do you remember Chris D'Elia, that comedian you didn't like?
He was texting that 16-year-old.
But did you see, like, he was on the Fight on the Kid podcast?
Yeah.
And, like, they were explaining to him that something happened and someone had screenshotted a Snapchat. He's like, oh wait, you can do that? And they're like, yeah, like you can just screenshot a Snapchat, and then like, mate, like it just like zooms in on his face, and he's just like looking off into the distance, like fuck.
It's that moment of realization, like, people have got dirt on me. Like,
yes, and I was like, and then it came out. Obviously, he was like messaging loads of fans and stuff like that. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Marilyn Manson as well. He's in hot water. Like, that's the least shocking news you were probably going to have.
It's like when people are like, when we were growing up, it was like Marilyn Manson's a creep, and you're like, no, we did. And then you like, this all comes out, you're like, well, shit, actually.
Yeah. But I mean, like, we already heard about the Evan Rachel Wood stuff a couple of years ago and stuff like that, and she was saying that she was young at the time, and now it's just even more. But like, I was reading a story, and it was like, in his book, he's talking about all these young lassies that he used to take back to his tour bus and stuff like that. And like the way he puts it is kind of like proud of it.
Yeah,
and it's like
Anthony Kiedis is like that as well from Red Hot Chili Peppers. Steven Tyler's like that from Aerosmith. Like, a lot of them are very much like. There was like the big one from Aerosmith's like taking a 14-year-old fan around with from the bus. You're like, Jesus Christ, guys!
The world has changed.
The world has definitely changed. I think they've now realised it's more like there's the reason why they have age consent, like because you need to realise that people are impressionable at that age. You know,
is it just because they realise like people have got phones and can get evidence now?
I also think people are looking at things and going like, "That's a kid."
Yeah,
like that's a child. Even like 16, that's a child. But like, me and Sinead were sitting watching something on YouTube, and this video came up, and it was about a guy. I can't remember his fucking name, but his YouTube thing was like Sferig or something. Like, he was from Latvia or something like that. Mm-hmm. And the guy's video was like going, what the fuck is this guy saying? And the guy was like just talking about age of consent laws, and he was saying like women should get pregnant straight after they like first get their period and stuff like that. And the guy's like, what is this guy put this on YouTube? And then like he said he was talking about age of consent, and he was like, oh, in Spain it was like 14, and in Italy it was like 14, and in some places like 10. And the guy stopped the video. He was like, why does it keep getting lower? like Jesus, like why does it keep getting lower?
Like he's building up to the best one.
I know.
Oh boys, you won't believe this.
Wait, some of the best things that have happened to this like culture is that people can talk to each other easier. But some of the worst things that have happened in this culture is people can give you like their opinion on things. You're like, you should have probably never told anyone that. Like, or like,
idea.
go seek help.
You'll be on some sort of list, and rightly so.
He's the same guy that eats raw meat in front of like vegan restaurants and stuff.
So he's insane then.
Aye.
See,
like,
folk that do that for attention. It's like, because that's what it is. Is when they turn around, I'm making a point. It's like, no, you're clearly needing something. You need to have that verification. You need to have
superiority.
that. You need to think that you're better than me. It's like, let people fucking live their lives like that. If people want to eat vegetables and be vegan, let them fucking do it.
They've already got hard enough, man. They do.
They can't.
There's enough honestness.
There we go. Take that, vegans.
What do you think of K-pop boys?
Oh no, don't start with them, man. They'll come after us.
Vegans can't fight for themselves. They don't get enough protein, you know.
Yeah, exactly. You drink all the almond milk in the world.
This guy also gets sick because you ever seen that fermented meat movement?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
We put meat in jars and then they eat it after like so many, and like it gets them like high, I think, because of all the bacteria and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's fucking rotten. You're going to get sick.
Yeah. You know what's good to get high? Drugs. Like, they're fine.
Simple drugs.
I need to go trying to reinvent the wheel, guys. We figured that shit out a while ago.
Where do you get food poisoning from your weed cookie?
You betray me, weed cookie.
God, but like we couldn't even get as spicy takes as that. Like some of our takes are mid compared to that guy's fucking takes.
Yeah, but I think it's more because like we live in like reality. That's a big thing.
Yeah, see, I hate reality, man.
I think the Scots have always been like that. They've always been realistic when it comes to it. Like they'll be happy if you know what I mean. What example for that for the Euros, when we were in the Euros for the first time in how many years, and we drew against England. That was a win for us.
We won the Euros that day.
We won England didn't beat us, therefore we won. That was very like, as much as like we're very pessimistic about things, we're very optimistic when it comes to like stupid wee things like that. And to be like, and we're quite level headed and down to earth, but like when insane stuff like that comes out, you want to call it out. You want to just go through the PC or whatever device they are and just strangle them. Going, you're putting that out there, and people are going to be like, "Oh, that seems all right. Let me just fucking eat meat in front of people, raw meat in front of people, or get myself food poisoning." Do
you know why we're like this?
Because we've been beaten down.
No, because we have to have lived next door to the English for the last 1,000 years.
So we've been beaten down.
Well, this is like, what are they doing again?
looking over Hadrian's Wall. What's that?
What the fuck are you doing? What's a Brexit?
Can you eat that? Is that after you had breakfast and you have to leave?
Looking longingly over the Irish Sea, like there's our boys over there.
Look at them. They've got a whole day called St. Paddy's Day.
They're having a great time. Well, I don't know if they are most of the time.
Nah, there's a lot of shit going on there. But, you know,
like, Northern ones always seem very depressed.
I mean, they're kind of in the same boat. Like, you know, a lot of shit going on, and well, just in general, a lot of shitty lives. But you know, they find the humour in what they can, just like us. You know.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't started watching The Last of Us yet because it reminds me too much of Modern Britain. Like.
I think Dom liked that one.
But like, watching your country like crumble. I mean, it's funny, but also you're like, shit, I have to live here.
Yeah.
Like, because we're an island, I can't just fuck off. Like,
that's true.
Can I swim the island? No, I couldn't.
Well, you know, we have boats and stuff, mate.
Yeah.
I know.
We've got dinghies.
But
clearly we have lots of dinghies that come up and over that we could probably take and swim somewhere else.
See if those people knew the reality of living here. Like, they'd be like, guys, we'd be on the beaches, like, can we use your dinghy to get to France, man? Like, why are they leaving? Like,
do you think that would work? Like the reverse, if they were really wanted to make sure, like, they're like, oh, we don't want them here. It says, well, get people wanting to leave, and they'd be like, oh, actually, this might be bad. Did that not happen in America? When they were saying about, like, when they were trying to build the new wall that was there, and a lot of people went, they don't want us in this country, so they all went back to Mexico and other places. And they're like, shit, we've actually lost a lot of the immigrants that did jobs and stuff. Fuck. And it kind of backfired because it was like, you've made it now that people, like, get out of this country, this country's ours, and it's like, Okay, we will. No,
Hold
we'll
on,
share.
Dom. Are you saying that America made a decision that backfired?
The history of America.
There we go. Back to it. Go as the books.
They learned it from
Vietnam.
they learned it from Britain though. We're like, oh, we want Brexit and that. Like, all the doctors went home. Oh, no, that's a shame. Anyway, when do we get political?
So what, you've been reading Hugh.
Actually, I've been reading. I'm going like. Here's the thing, right? Because you start like reading one Witcher book, and there's like seven, I think.
Right behind you, mate. If you want to count
I'm
them.
turning my head. There's a few of them anyway. Like, there's enough. There's enough that will last.
There's
me,
at
like,
least 3.
There's at least 3.
7 sounds about right.
I
I think there's 2 books of short stories. That's the first 2 you have to read, and then there's like the actual like Witcher story.
Yeah.
And then I think the Witcher games come after that. Like they come post story.
It's complicated because the author was very much like
He hates the games.
he
doesn't
hates the games because of it, because he's
but
like, I
fuck
have no
him.
say of it. But then he did get compensated about it, so I think he's like, okay,
he got compensated, but then the third game did so well, and there's like a law in Poland where if it does better than expected, even after getting your compensation, you can like
That's a good law.
ask for more,
Yeah.
which is fair, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't think he was a big fan. Obviously like the first season of the show was a
Well
lot of it
received,
was but a
And it
lot,
was in
of,
his
a lot of
book.
it was from The Last Wish and stuff like that. It was those short stories and things like that, which I think that show should have just tried to stay with at least for a wee bit longer rather than going into the kind of the big main story of it.
Yeah, he kind of tried to rush that, didn't it? Like,
yeah, that's why
like
Cavill left, didn't he? He's like, they're not taking
Just like a weekly monster show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
There's a plethora of, you know, beasties and stuff like that in the Witcher universe. So
Sorry, you used the word plethora and then you said beasties after that. That's what he's like, oh, that's a good word. Beasties, man.
Beasties. I need to balance out the poshness and the scumminess.
Do you know what I really like though? Like, see the kind of Eastern European, Central European like legends that we never really hear.
Yeah.
Like that's cool. Like because we hear loads of fucking Scandinavian, Northern Europe, fucking Western Europe. That's our kind of fucking area. But like that stuff's exotic to us. Like, oh, what's that? That's cool.
Yeah.
That what I was saying is like I want to read them all now, but I'm like, oh, well, I want to read this other book too, and it's like I hate having so many hobbies, and also I hate having so little time.
It's like, I mean, it's the exact same as when you get loads of games in your
Yeah.
backlog. You're like, I want to play all of these.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Because I was thinking about playing Skyrim this year.
finally.
Yeah, I thought I gave it enough time.
A couple of remakes with it.
Well,
They
no-
finally fixed the game to my standards. I'm like, do you know what? This is now.
I'm going to play it on the 360.
after all that.
No, but like, you know
Just
what I
play
mean?
Oblivion if you're going to do that, mate.
Yeah, fuck it. I watched Greenie play Oblivion and hear it in your house, and I was just like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm just walking about," and I'm like, "Why?" Like I never at that point played a what do you call it, like a fucking Western RPG, American RPG or whatever. I was a big JRPG guy. I'm like, there's nothing going on, mate.
Where's the
Where's the
anime
badass
girls?
music? The anime girls, big swords, cool shit.
The thing with like Oblivion is that was before the time of just having like a GPS to everywhere.
Yeah.
You would have to like
Actually read the map and actually
figure out and like see the game before it, like Daggerfall. That was even worse. Like, I mean that was proper old, but again you would just have a journal and till you go to some town that you've never fucking heard of, so you'd have to find that somehow, and then it was just. I think going back to that after the convenience of all the things that you get in games now for the ease of access, like it would just be
I think it'd be interesting.
interesting, certainly, yeah, but also just be very easy to get frustrated and just be like, fuck this, I need a guide or something.
Assassin's Creed tried that, I think with Valhalla, where like you could turn it off.
Yeah, you have a choice. Well, fair enough if you have a choice, and they even give you like totally off, kind of it'll show you the area, or it'll just point you exactly to the person.
Yeah, Red
Which
Dead
is-
Redemption did that as well. I'm sure Red Dead 2.
Did it? I can't remember.
Ghost of Tsushima's got that wind thing
Yeah,
where the wind
yeah,
goes in
it
the
gives you a
direction of
rough idea.
It's the same idea. The thing is,
Shao Colossus with the sword and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was a cool wee feature.
but see when I catch myself in Assassin's Creed following the thing to each point, that's when I stop playing the game because I'm like, I am not playing anymore. I am checklisting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you want a game where you can just wander about, and see enough things, then it needs to be an extremely dense world, and there needs to be packed with loads of things.
So not Breath of the Wild.
Dom's
raging. I've kicked the Dom horn in this.
Oh, everyone's hornets are
again, Skyrim was one I wanted to play because people were always saying to me, you can't be an RPG fan if you've never played Skyrim.
Skyrim's again got one of the best soundtracks, I think.
I've heard it on Spotify.
So good. But I'm not a huge fan of those types of games. My brother is. Brother Kev loves those types of games. And when he
still got Morrowind.
Do you know what?
Do you know it's fine because I've stolen enough stuff off you. You can keep Morrowind. I was never going to play it anyway.
So when all the patches PC mods came out with the Macho Man dragons and stuff.
Macho Man.
Oh yeah, comes down from the skies and that's what he says.
I might play this on PC.
Thomas the Tank Engine. Yeah. Master Chief's in it as well.
I think
come on, Master Chief.
See, if you really do want to play Skyrim, then you do have the capability now. If you've got a good PC and stuff like that, you can make the game look like it's brand new.
Yeah,
high resolution textures and stuff like that.
There was someone on TikTok that put up the combat that they've done for it as well, where it actually plays like Final Fantasy 15, where it's like an active one there, or you got a passive sort of attack one. And then it looks good considering that game's 16 years old now.
Oblivion or Skyrim. 2011, I think it came out. So 12 years old. Fucking
and
God damn, man.
And people have put a lot of love into that community and done the renders of the water and the sky and the rim.
Bioshock's 16 years old.
Oh mate, you're getting. That's what happens with time, mate. It continues.
I hate time, man. I hate it because I'm just sitting here. I'm like, oh, Bioshock, that came out 5 years ago.
just put it at least in front of everything, at least 5 years ago.
At least, and then you always live in that ignorant part. It's okay. I live there always. I live there most of the time.
Ignorance is bliss. Man.
Never a truer word.
I wish I was a dumbass sometimes.
That's what you're trying.
Well, I've got something to tell
you. I would explain the irony of that to you, but you wouldn't get it.
It's I'm not ironing clothes, but there it is.
Did I explain my cinema trip on the podcast before?
I don't believe you did. No.
I don't think you have.
To see what have you seen?
Oh,
do you see Puss in Boots?
Right, I've got. No, I want to see that film so bad.
Don't get him off on another.
I know. Sorry, tangent in the podcast. Right, so I'll set up my weekend. Right,
okay.
You both know
that is kind of the thing I hoped you would do when I said, "What have you been up to here?"
So Saturday, I play football in the morning, 5-a-side. Try to keep fit. I'm an athlete, got to keep trim.
You're just wearing this nice tight Man U top, and it's just your six pack's just exploding out.
Oh, is that where my six pack is? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's beer.
No, but,
so you play football in the morning?
Yes. We're warming up. My brother decided to run headfirst into the wall. Well,
that's not exactly how
he
it
tripped,
happened,
fell. He's 6'8", so he fell from a very long distance. Banged his head on this breeze block wall, and then lay there for a good couple of seconds, going, and I was like, "Hey man, you okay?" Turns out he wasn't okay. A lot of blood.
Hey man, you okay?
Do you know what I mean? When you're like, "What did I say?" You?
Yeah, there's nothing you can. I mean, you could have said anything you wanted to because he probably doesn't remember it.
No, he doesn't. I went to first aid mode. Go to top first aid mode. You're like, "Hey, can you hear me? Are you awake?" Blah blah. I was like, "Can you stand up?" All that shit, and he's got a lump on the side of his head that was like a potato.
Yeah.
Honest to God, potato. And then it took him to hospital, he got stitches, concussion, blah blah, right? So I was a bit fucked up from that. I was a bit on edge. A wee bit anxiety from whoa, that's a bit scary.
Gets the adrenaline
shit
pumping
can just go bad in seconds.
Yeah, but it's so quick, you're like, fuck.
So I was tense all weekend, right? And then Sinead's like, "Oh, so why just go to the cinema and we'll have a wee relaxing day?" I was like, "Oh, that sounds good, sitting in a dark, quiet room watching a film. That'll calm me down, actually."
Yeah.
But hey, we got there, right? And we're like, fuck, what films are on? It's hardly any films on this time. It's a couple of days before Avatar and that came out or whatever. And then I was like, "Oh, Black Panther 2 is still out.
Oh yeah,
well, let's go see that." And she's like, "Oh, they've got special cheap tickets on today. Fantastic, this day's going great." Right.
Then you slipped and hit your head.
I fucking wish, mate. I wouldn't remember what it was like. So, in the cinema, right? For a start, they never dimmed the lights.
The lights?
The lights in the cinema.
The lights. The lights. I was like, is this some kind of snack that you need to have every time you go to the cinema?
The snacks are fine. But the screens, because we're trying out new cinemas, because we're getting rid of our cinema card, so we went Braehead.
Well, I understand why, because they didn't actually pay us for all the times that we were poaching for Cine.
I know, fuck that, man. I want the sponsorship. I don't think they can afford it. They're going through bankruptcy.
Anyway.
The screen was really shit. It washed out. Like, it just was kind of shit watching this, like, fucking new film. But the worst part was the people who were in the fucking cinema.
Oh.
Right. So, down in front of me, because I was sitting near the back, there was like 6 or 7 boys. They were about 13, 14. The worst age group.
That's the worst age group.
Playing on their phone, Snapchatting, talking to people on their phone, right? And I'm trying not to be an old man here, right? I was like, they'll get they'll get into the film, they'll put the phones down. But there was a group of boys to the left of me, or the right of me even. Who cares? You can't see this.
I mean, the cinema was dark.
Up behind me, there was 6 of them, right? And they were just like noisy as fuck, just like talking to each other at this volume all through like the first half hour of the film, which I was like, don't get mad, but like, mate, I swear to God, I'd never really been this mad before.
Yeah.
I was honest to God fuming because I think I couldn't do anything about it because you guys shout at 14-year-olds. Like, but like in my head, like I was going to shout at them, they wouldn't give a fuck. Like, you know what I mean? They're like all the pals. You're not going to fucking slap a 14-year-old.
I mean,
it's dark. It's dark, mate. Like,
allegedly, we'll say that.
A guy came in about 15 minutes late, right? And he had these 2 kids with him, and he left them sitting there, and he fucked off. He probably went to get dinner or some shit, right? But they were like on their phones too, and like walking a bit, using the torch on their phone, and they were like kids. They were like 6 and 7.
Yeah,
and like these boys
not even allowed to see the film.
Probably.
No idea.
Probably not like a 12A or something. I don't know, like fantasy violence.
Probably. I can't even tell you anything about the film.
Yeah.
Because I was sitting there
distracted,
fucking fuming.
Yeah.
And like, honest to God, I was like, yeah, it's like, don't be this guy here. Don't be this guy. Try and enjoy the film. But then they make it getting louder and louder and louder until the point I lost. Like, mate, I can't even remember like shouting at them, but I fucking shouted so loud. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
And like, mate, everyone just went silent, right? And then like they were all staring at me, and Sinead says that they were all just staring like wide eyed, like they probably didn't even know we were there.
Aye.
And then like everyone was silent, and I was sitting there, and it was like 15 minutes later, and it started again slowly, building up all the noise, and I was like, "Sinead, we need
testing you, mate.
Sinead, we need to go." Like I was just like, I'm leaving, like, because like
the next time won't be just
I'll be on the news tonight.
I'm a Glasgow man. Killed 15 children.
Gets beat up by 6 kids.
That's a better.
But like, I think obviously because Jason,
you were already.
I was already a bit tense, and then I got to the cinema, and the cinema's like a happy place.
It's supposed to be quite relaxing. And
you've paid money to go and see a film you want to chill out and relax, especially having a bad weekend. And they've ruined it.
Mate, there's cinema etiquette, right? And I push everyone to like, you stay quiet as much as you can.
Yeah. Sometimes something will happen, or
you can say something, but and then you don't go on your phone. Also, go for a piss before the film. Fuck's sake.
Some people have tiny bladders. Like,
I understand,
but if you can, of course,
but like, stay fucking quiet.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I was lost my temper, just walked out, and I was like, because even if I went and complained about it, they're not going to kick out fucking. Well, I'd probably say, mate, can you go in there and get everyone out except me and my girlfriend? So I went out and said to the guy, like, I can't sit in there, mate. And he was like, why? I explained it, and he was like, oh, I'll just get a refund on everything, including my popcorn that I fucking anger at. But mate, I could tell you almost nothing about Black Panther 2, and I think I was in there for an hour.
Jeez.
Like,
well, and on the good news, it's like coming to Disney Plus and tomorrow.
The first time I got excited about Marvel property lately was I saw the trailer with Kang in it.
Yeah,
it got my old comic book brain going because I was like, oh, Kang's so cool.
Oh, did you not watch Loki?
No, not yet. No, okay. Not yet. But like, I saw the TikTok theories about like the bit at the end of Loki where he says like, oh, it's done or it started or something like that, and that's meant to line up with Wanda Vision.
Yeah. And something else supposedly as well.
Something else supposedly as well. But it seems cool. It just doesn't seem they built Kang up enough yet. But what I'm thinking they might do is, do you remember the Invasion storyline in the comics where he like took over Earth?
Yeah.
They might do that for a couple of films.
Maybe. Yeah, I think he's not going to be like one and done. He's like the next Thanos. You know what I mean? It's going to be like a saga. I think like was it the Kang Dynasty or something? They're calling it. So
I think that's Kang the fucking story of Kang Dynasty. He's got. I wonder if they do the Sword of Damocles ship and all that stuff.
Don't talk about the Sword of Damocles, mate.
Oh, Trivium?
No. What was the last podcast we did?
Scorpion King?
Scorpion King 2. What sword were they going after?
Sword of Damocles.
Mate.
Mate, I'd done everything I could to push that film from my mind.
And there it is. It rears its ugly head.
Do you know what I'm really happy about? We've actually finished 1 month of podcasts.
Yeah.
Every Friday, so is that 5?
Don't jinx it, mate. You're going to jinx it.
No, I won't jinx it.
The longest month of the year, it feels like, anyway.
Doesn't
Not
it?
because of the podcast, I don't mean it like that. Just this time of year. But no, I can't remember what I was seeing. It was years ago. But I've shouted at kids in the cinema.
Cars 2. I had to do that. It was my pal's birthday.
I'm just imagining Dom shouting at these Waynes.
Shut up! I'm trying to listen to the car talk. No, it was like teenagers like kicking the back of seats.
But
and
you've
stuff.
not even drove a car.
Teenagers like kicking the back of seats. There was someone's, I can't remember whose birthday it was, and I remember turning around and was like, "You want to fucking show?" He's like, "What are you going to do?" And I stood up. No, I noticed he was like 10. I'm like, maybe not.
Because like I know I could beat him up, but I know that I'm arrested.
It was a packed cinema though, but after that, like, I think someone made a complaint and they came up and kicked them out. Because again, there was about 6 of them in that. I mean, I could take at least 3 of them. I know. I see, like, it's like that saying. It's like how many kids could you beat up before they overwhelm you? How many kids come in?
I got a few.
It's like how many could you? I could probably take about 6 maybe before they overwhelm you.
I mean, that's all just accuracy. Like, you don't even need to be that strong, right?
Yeah, because they're weak.
To knock out a kid, as long as you get one good punch on the chin, they're down. So as long as you can continually get them in the chin, that's saving your energy.
Have you seen the movie Jet Li the One?
No.
Oh, years and years ago.
Yeah, and you see right at the end of it when he was like, right at the end of the movie that he's put into like this prison part, and it's just him fighting a bunch of people. I suppose I just imagine it's just them all rushing Jet Li, and you're just kicking the shit out of these kids while Papa Roach is playing.
I think it was.
Got to play Papa Roach on your phone. They won't even know who Papa Roach are.
I'm telling you, man, if you've not seen that movie, I watched it maybe about a month and a half ago because I was like, oh man, what are the good sort of like rubbish 2000 movies are there? And I'm like, oh my god, Jet Li used to do so many good ones. Like, you would remember he did one with DMX and stuff like that.
Oh, what's that called?
He did Unleashed, which was a great one, where he was chained up by a collar, and then was like, you had a kill word where he'd go about and just...
Is this all post-Matrix films where everybody wanted Kung Fu?
Aye, basically.
Like,
Is it
Bulletproof
Cradle to the
Monk?
Grave?
Cradle to the Grave,
that is.
Because I think Chuck Liddell and that were in that film as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Aye, but again, like, Jet Li movies are always like, they're great. They're not, because again, it's all wire work, unfortunately. It's not like Tony Jaa or Jackie Chan or Bruce Lee, where it was all like, proper. I mean, but Jet Li is a martial artist.
So yeah, is that us criticising Jet Li as well now?
I fucking love Jet Li, man. I wouldn't be criticising him. I think the shit out of me.
I think it was a PlayStation 2 game for the one.
Yeah, there was one. Yeah, there was,
and it was like your right stick was like a 360 attack thing. So you could like hit people in front of you and then flick it back.
Is that not on Blade 2 as well?
No, that was when you got like full blood fury rage mode.
You went full blood fury rage. You went full jet.
That was the
jet fuel.
That's what my Razor's called. That's no Daryl Green joke,
3,000.
isn't it?
But then you got the 360 that, but that was a funny game. That was good.
Yeah.
There's something amazing about mid PS2 life cycle games that are just like special because they're like, oh no, we'll figure this 3D shit out.
Yeah.
What wild control schemes can we use now?
Yeah.
But now I think we've only got live services that die after 6 months.
Yeah.
How you raging, Hamish? Did you spend any money on the Avengers?
I mean, I bought the Avengers ages ago, but like the story's great.
You may as well went, I was a fucking idiot forever.
No, like if he enjoys the story.
Sorry, mate, I was wildly critical of you there.
I'm pretty sure, like, I didn't. Did I buy it when it first came out?
Sorry, mate, I bought Final Fantasy
don't.
15 when it first came out.
How many times have you bought Final Fantasy 15?
Not enough.
4 times.
Give him a time. We up to 15 by the time we end this podcast.
But by the 4th time, it was a good game.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like, I'm assuming you've heard the news about the Avengers. Like, they're cutting that off, but they're not just like
we're giving it
never touching it again. They're just gonna like gut out all of the stuff that people hated and just make it like a story game.
Almost like the game
like they should have done in the first place. Yeah.
And that's how Guardians suffered from it as well, because Guardians didn't have any of that shit.
But people all assumed that it did.
Yeah.
Is Avengers still a Square Enix game?
Yeah,
or is it?
I think so. Yeah.
That was Square Enix and who was it?
Crystal Dynamics.
Yeah.
But like, because I'm only assuming because Square Enix sold all of their Western studios, like the Eidos studios.
Yeah. I don't think they'll Hideo Kojima it, where they'll just erase the names and stuff like that when they're not there. But
Crystal Dynamics is a single player fucking studio they made. Tomb Raider.
That's what the problem is.
Anyway, before I move on to Dom, anything else that you?
Let me rack my brain, Hamish. Let me rack. Dom,
Space Racket.
You can cut in at any time, though.
Yeah.
What have you been up to, Dom?
So I have been playing some games. I've been playing Persona 5 Royale.
Yes.
Sorry about the same.
Hamish didn't see it coming.
Yeah,
Who have you came up with, Hugh?
Thanks, Hugh. And yeah, so I'm about 80 hours into this playthrough, really enjoying it, and the updates that they've done to this game, because again, I haven't touched this game since I finished it for the third time back when I had it. I've not played.
That's a 120-hour game.
I have not played Persona 5 Royale. I played Persona 5 the third time, so I haven't touched Royale at all.
I remember you telling us that. Actually,
yeah, so I'm like, this is my first time playing this with like the 4K models, and because again, funnily enough, I was looking, going, these models look so much better. It must just be like they've just upscaled them or something like that. But it turns out that they've taken the models from the dancing game and they've just put them into this game. And I went, oh, that makes so much more sense. But funny enough, they have a dancing game that had better models than the base game.
It's a bit silly, but
I think a lot better voice acting and stuff.
Persona 5 was a PS3 game.
It was a PS3 game,
and then it got up.
It delayed and stuff like that.
When did you start playing this?
So this would have been the tail end of December. I started.
And you put 80 hours in.
80 hours.
That's why when we text in the chat, like, so when are you free?
He's like, never. I am on a date with this character.
Makoto, she needs me. The problem is with that. The problem is with these games, you do need to put a lot of hours into it, and
I think the problem is with those games is just those games, man.
Oh no!
If Hamish he'd fucking love those games.
I think you would. I can understand the frustration of, you need to spend that much time you need to put that much time into the game to get something out of it. But at the same time, it's not like Death Stranding, where the gameplay's a bit funny and it takes forever to get the plot going. The plot starts right away, so you're engaged. The combat takes a wee while to get used to, but once you got that down, and the character developments, and you don't need to do any of that. You could go, do you know what, I'm just going to go to bed. And that's it.
It's Hamish in real life. Like, nah, I'm not going to do any of that. I think there's no busy work in these games.
No.
If you don't want to do it, there's busy work, but you don't have to do it.
Yeah, that's the same with any game, really. Well,
I know, but
mostly.
It isn't designed around the busy work.
Yeah.
The busy work is actually extra. It's not Assassin's Creed where they went,
where
do we place all these items on this map? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, there's a progression lock. It's like, no matter what you do, you choose the way you deal with this year, regardless what happens. It says there will be critical points that you have to get up to. So there's like, you need to do this object, you need to do this task before the end of this date, or it's game over.
Yeah,
there'll be things like that.
I fucking hated that in Persona 4 because I got mixed up at one point and just kept going.
Yeah,
and then it was like, oh no, she's dead now.
She's dead.
And I was like, what? Why didn't you tell me to go in the thing? And it was like,
we gave you lots of warnings.
I was like, I don't understand warnings.
So I've never really liked that mechanic in any game, even like Dead Rising and stuff like that. When so you've got today to save this person. That's just like, just let me play the game at my own pace, you know.
Yeah.
Well, they give you like 2 weeks in the game.
I know, but still, like, what if I've got 2 weeks of shit to do
in the game?
I'm a busy man.
But the improvements done for that game have been like night and day. I was actually shocked. I was like, what could they possibly improve in this game compared to the vanilla version of Persona 5? The fact that when you get strong enough, you can actually instant kill shadows is a big improvement. Because beforehand, you would always have to fight your shadows, you would always have to avoid them, but now you can go, nope, dead, get your experience, dead, and you can just do that. Saves so much fucking time. Your confidants are a lot easier to get, but also at the same time, there's more people that you can talk to. And there's a whole thing about cognition in it, and they go in depth about that, which is great, because again, that was one of the things that I missed about the game. I was like, there's one character that's in particular, who's, his story is quite involved with like what happened with Cognition.
Yeah.
But you don't really get an option to talk about it with him. But now you do, and you find out why he's like, and you're like, oh, like you're just a bit more
fleshed out, a bit more of the backstory.
You feel empathetic towards him rather than just like, oh, that came out of nowhere, or oh, I seen that coming.
There's also a new character and about 25 hours new gameplay.
So, like, yeah, she's there, and I'm a bit like, unfortunately, they kind of keep the same story, and she comes in and goes, hi, bye. All right, she's gone. Oh, I'm away doing gymnastics for the next month. Bye. And she'll come in and go, hey, Morgana. And Morgana's like, oh, it's you. Blah, blah, blah. And then she'll disappear and you're like, all right, I won't see her for a wee while. Yeah. So it's like the bits, obviously, they didn't want to deviate too far away from the plot. And I've only seen wee bits of the extra stuff, but that shows you how good this game is, that I'm like, wow, they've improved this boss and they've made their stories a lot better. Like, there's a lassie called Haru that you meet near the end of the game, and her social links you don't really bother because you're like, well, I'm going to focus with the ones that actually have a better chance of actually getting their power-ups with, because they're at 7 and 8, where with you're at 1. I'm going to have to spend all my time with you with fucking plants. No, see you later. I just go away.
But bitch, I put way more work into these over here.
So like when you get to a certain age, you're like, I don't need new friends. That's a hassle.
I don't want to explain my personality to somebody else.
I've got too many confidants. But they've got a lot of behind the scene features as well, like specials, and like you can have like a bit more in depth parts of like how they created it and the promotional arts and stuff. They've got the promotional art that we seen in Japan when we were there, which was awesome, because when we went into one of the game bits, it was a whole sort of like TV that they had, and I've still got some of the promotional work from it as well. I'm like, that's pretty cool, but they've got that in the game. Coming near the end of it, and I'm like, where is this extra? I've not seen any of
after?
It. I think it may be after the point, but after the
end of the
big
year
reveals and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, well, hopefully it happens soon, because I'm like, I don't want to spend 80 hours and go, I don't get it. I'll be like, oh fuck, I've just wasted 80 hours.
Are you going to play Persona 3 at some point?
See, now because it's on Game Pass, maybe.
Right. So when you do that, we'll try and sync up, because I'm going to try and play it on my PSP, because I spent a lot of money on the PSP version. And then Game Pass is just like, who's on Game Pass? And I'm like, okay, thanks.
Cheers.
I mean, I could sell it and make the money back. I don't know what, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, that's hard, isn't it?
I mean, how far are you?
eBay? Yeah, it's hard work.
Yeah. How far are you in Persona 4?
15 hours, something
Surely you guys are working backwards. I mean, 5 and you're playing 4 and
it's
you're talking about playing 3.
Mate. It's an anthology.
It does. The great thing about Persona is like they're all like individual games. They're nothing. The only thing that's similar to it is Personas. Really, and even at that, they introduced different ones. There's like been ones that have came in that I'm like, who the fuck is that? But in P5, they've actually brought P5 Royale. They brought some of the old ones from like P4, and I'm like, and they're free, which is great. You don't have to find them somewhere, or
they're just in your.
They're just in your party if you want to, and it breaks the game sometimes. You're like, oh, I've got this guy's level 90 just to show everyone. You're like,
kill everything.
Yeah. But I've also been playing Bayonetta 3.
Oh yeah.
So
we can just cut all of Dom's old stuff in, because he just plays the same games, don't he? I know I can talk, but
I don't know if I've heard Dom's opinion on Persona 3
or Bayonetta 3.
5 though.
Bayonetta 3 even. Sorry.
No. Bayonetta 3.
I don't know if I'm remembering a podcast I might be remembering a podcast I actually listened to.
That's treason, mate. It's treason then.
I did say like I played it for a bit and I was a bit disappointed with it. Mm-hmm. But an update came out a few months ago, and they fixed a lot of problems that they had, which is so strange. Usually with Platinum, they don't have to have like a post update for their games.
Yeah,
they're very much like they get it done right the first, like, when it's released. But for some reason, they had to do this update, and thankfully they did, because a lot of the problems that I had with it.
Did they update it from the Switch to a better console?
Give it time, man. They might just do what they did with Wonderful 101, and then like once the license is out, they'll buy it from Nintendo and just do that. I hope they do that, because you can see that this has potential. See, like on a PS5 or Xbox One. Honestly, you're like,
mate, I'd wish Xenoblade Chronicles come out on the Xbox or the PlayStation. Like, just to, like, because obviously that studio's got talent, but they're like, oh, we have to hit this limit.
Yeah.
And then the game struggle, but they will never, because Nintendo own them. But yeah, tell us about Bayonetta 3, sorry.
Bayo 3 plays exactly the same as your Bayonetta 1 and 2. You can actually, if you've got the saved versions of BO 1 and 2 on your Switch, you can actually unlock their weapons in
nice.
Bayonetta 3, and you play just the same BO. Like, so you can have like the tiger and stuff like that when you run about, rather than all the ones they've got in Bayonetta 3. Still playing through it because the file got deleted, so I need to start again. So yeah, enjoying that. I did play one of the new games from Bethesda that dropped, Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah, I've been seeing so much about that game.
So
Big Ross, our friend of the podcast, Ross, was telling me about how good it was as well.
It's so strange because it wasn't what I was expecting. See, from like the cutscenes and stuff, I went, okay, and then finding out it was like a rhythmic game, I was like, oh, okay, so it was like on the beat and stuff, but the
Metal Hellsinger?
Yeah, literally like that.
So I'll be bad at it then?
You may be bad at it, but 9 Inch Nails and stuff, Magic Keys, there's a lot of good artists that are on this. And I was like, oh man, I can't wait to stream. Well, I won't be able to stream that. But they do have a streamer mode where it was like the music's, it doesn't sound
again,
as good.
Like Metal Hellsinger, I think, had a streamer mode as well, didn't it? And it was just kind of... But
mine was always like that because I never got to hear the actual fucking song.
Yeah, you wouldn't need to worry about it. But that just kind of takes away the whole purpose of the game, doesn't it? Really,
yeah, exactly. But gorgeous looking game. Really like bright and colourful, very Jet Set Radio / Sunset Overdrive.
It reminded me of Sunset Overdrive when I saw like someone sent me screenshots and I was like, fucking hell man, Sunset Overdrive 2,
Yeah,
which is a game that
it was okay. It was okay. It wasn't the best game, but it was, it was a launch title for the Xbox One, wasn't it?
I thought we were still talking about
Sunset Overdrive, sorry.
Sunset I never really got into. I didn't think it was a bit of a wasted
is that
potential.
Insomniac?
Yeah, I think it was it their first.
Or Sucker Punch? One of
I think
them.
it was their first Xbox games. Like,
I think it was a Spider-Man. Pure Insomniac.
I mean, Insomniac. Anyway,
I don't know why.
Hi-Fi Rush. Aye, good wee
You
game.
recommend it? Yeah.
I'd recommend it. It's
give
a
it
short
a download.
Yeah, give it again on Game Pass. Go nuts. Like, supposedly it's only 6 hours. I've been enjoying it. I played it for about 2.5, and I've been like, this is good. Like, characters are fun. The antagonists, the bosses, and that they look like they're going to be a great laugh. The protagonist, he's a bit like, whatever, man. I've got an MP3 stuck in here, and you're like, and he's a defect, and everyone's like, again, it's just a hybrid of like all these ideas. About 6 hours.
You just said that.
Sorry.
So I was so boring that Hugh just fell asleep there.
No, I don't know where my brain went to another game on Game Pass.
He was drifting back thinking, you see those fucking kids in that cinema.
You want to get them in the boxing ring, just take them on.
Mate, sometimes I do sit and think like, what I should have done is this. But like,
the shiver thoughts.
You cannot hit a kid.
You can
on
hit
purpose.
A kid. You shouldn't hit a kid.
You cannot hit a kid without serious consequences.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And I was going through clearances at the time. I couldn't have that shit happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, like give it a wee shot, I would say. It's the soundtrack's great as well. Like, I think it opens with Magic Keys, so like it's been years since I've heard them. Because I'm like, was that a group? Was that a group, or was that just two guys? I'm like, I'm pretty sure it was just two guys that did like instrumentation and stuff. And then obviously with Trent Reznor being on it as well with the 9 Inch Nails and that, I'm like, okay, maybe they're focusing more electronic kind of style.
Yeah,
aesthetically making sense with like all the robots, the robots and stuff. But yeah, worth a wee go. And again, if you don't like it, you can always
It's been all over Twitter like last 2 weeks or something like that. People are like, oh, it's amazing.
I think it's more like you're looking at that, and then you're looking at like a game like Forspoken, and they're like trying to justify like
I was
that guy
buy
talks away.
Yeah,
like he talks away.
Forspoken.
Because
like I played the demo and I was like, oh, this seems fun. The combat's really cool in it. But like I also went, these missions are trash.
I played it. So Epic put it on the Epic Store on the PC. So you got to play it on that as well. So I'll give it a wee go. Ooh, I thought it was rough.
The main kind of criticism I've heard of it is just that the protagonist, just the things that she says, the wee one-liners she comes away with is just so cheesy and stupid. Like, I was flying through the air, like literally flying through the air. It's like, that's just cringy, man. Like,
that's just Marvel banter.
Speaking of cringy, like I think like we were talking about if we were going to watch this, and I don't know why I do this to myself. I watched some of that Velma.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, a lot of people are like, worst thing ever. It's been rated lower than Dragon Ball Evolution. Like that's a big one, and that's a low bar.
See, when someone says that though, it does make you think like,
It can't be that bad.
I know.
Surely, you know,
It can't be that bad.
Can it be the film that ruined cinema for me as like a teenager?
Yeah.
And it's pretty fucking bad.
Yeah,
but is it the worst thing? No. Like, visually, at least it's appealing. You can look at it and a lot of effort went into it. There's like some bits when Velma has like anxiety attacks and stuff. It looks fucking great. Issue I have with it is not the worst thing. Velma, you just want to punch. She's not. There's nothing like
no redeeming qualities.
It doesn't feel like anything to do with Scooby-Doo. It makes no sense.
Are the other characters from Scooby-Doo in it? I've not really
Daphne,
seen
Well,
it.
Big Scoobert's not in it.
No, there's no Scooby in
No
Scooby.
Scooby, mate.
Fred,
Where is the start?
Daphne and a guy that's not Shaggy.
No, Shaggy.
Yeah.
I think I remember seeing that.
And Norbert, his name is, and that's Shaggy's real name, but it's just like, I'm going as Norbert and I don't do drugs. Get it? And you're like, okay, that's like, it's that kind of humour. And people go like, the lassie that voices Velma is like, she used to write for The Office. How is this trash?
Mindy Kaling, yeah.
And it's like, just because there's hundreds of writers in The Office, she wrote maybe some stuff for The Office doesn't mean like, automatically she's a good writer.
Yeah, I mean, also, you can do something well and then you can have a shit movie, a shit
So
song,
someone said this was like not ruined, but this was thought up in some corporate fucking office somewhere.
It feels like it is. Like, there's a very much like
Doesn't appeal to anybody.
Yeah, it's very anti-people. It's not anti male or very much like pro this or that. It's very anti-people.
Yeah,
because I don't know anyone that would purposely enjoy this unless they were just trolling.
Yeah,
it's not as bad as Hoops. I don't know if anyone's seen that show.
No.
So basically, it's on the tail ends of like Rick and Morty, that kind of style, or like Bob Burger kind of style animation about a gym coach that's teaching basketball, and he's one of the most. I watched 2 episodes of that, and I'm like, this guy's doing my fucking boxing.
Yeah,
he's just not funny, and he keeps repeating the same jokes over and over again. And I'm like, why is no one attacking this? This is fucking shit. So it's not as bad as Hoops. I mean, if that's a redeeming quality, but we don't know because it's still airing. Like I think there's an episode. Yeah, it's still doing like week to week, kind of like another HBO, like Last of Us, where it's like a completely different scale, where it's like, oh, this is fucking amazing to like, this is fucking trash. But supposedly they're getting a season 2 as well, which I'm like, I don't understand why.
You know,
but we don't know. It could turn around.
Could get better. The right could get better. But I've seen clips and I saw a video about like adaptations that move away from source.
Yeah,
and they were saying things like, you can do cool things with that kind of Scooby-Doo world because it is ridiculous.
Yeah,
but what they do, like the show doesn't know what it is. It doesn't know if it's ridiculous or
it should be taken seriously.
Yeah,
because they talk about like proper like situations and how you're supposed to handle that. Like how to there was a clip from one of the newer episodes I've seen. It was like how to get it's pretty girls that are getting killed. So like, we'll just make them ugly. Like Velma, look how ugly she is. She's like, oh, I'm not ugly, and you're like, and then snarky remark, white boy trash, and you're like, small dick joke, and you're like, oh, this is wow. Like we've not heard this. I took them all personally. Took them being white and being trash.
I am white trash.
Zing.
No, I don't think I'll watch it because like I can't even hate watch it because
you don't
care enough about it.
Because it's not Dragon Ball Evolution or something where I actually care about the fucking source material.
And I also don't think it's worth anyone's time really discussing. See if something's bad and is critically panned. You know what happens usually? It doesn't get talked about. But the problem is that people hate it so much that it keeps getting brought up.
Yeah. Mate, I have this argument with someone all the time where they always come to me with like, oh, have you seen this and how much it insults people and stuff? I'm like, why are you watching it then?
Why bother?
Is that, but other people are defending it. I'm like, you're as bad as them.
Yeah.
Like, do not simp for things.
Yes.
Like, I do it for Final Fantasy, but I know it's trash.
Do you know, see the reason?
But you get enjoyment out of it.
Yeah. So, I love that game.
Yeah.
I know it's shit.
Yeah. And like the reason why I did that, I was like, you know what, it'll be something interesting to talk about in the podcast. And like, if anyone, takes our opinion seriously, they could be like, oh, I don't need to watch that. Thank fuck. But
I think they already had that.
They do that about a podcast where I'm not listening to this fucking shit.
Instead of doing stuff like that, me and Rory, our friend Rory, we just downloaded loads of old 80s anime OVAs, which are just like short, like two episode things, and just listened to the music on them, and they were fucking mental, some of them. It's cool, but the music was badass. I think I sent you like the intro to one of them.
Yeah.
And
I got you on mute, mate. I don't know.
Fuck this guy. But like,
Yeah.
I think like sometimes you have to be in the mood to watch something you know is going to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or because you're just like,
Otherwise, you're just going to be like, "Why am I watching this?
Yeah.
I could be watching something." And you're
Scorpion King too.
Yeah. I mean, at least we have a purpose with that, like to talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah.
So,
Scorpion King 3 better be good, man. I swear to
I
God.
told you, mate, they get better, but this isn't one of our Scorpion King podcasts.
And I've just got Last of Us ready to go to watch that, just to kind of get that Velma taste out of my mouth. But I've been season 8, finishing up season 8 of Modern Family, so come near the end of that.
And this is your first time watching it?
First time watching it.
Such a good show. It's weird watching people grow up as well.
Yeah. And the character, it's what they take as well. Sorry, it just says.
Hugh thinks I meant something dirty when I was like, yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
But I do actually have an anecdote about the women in that. But I'll let you finish first.
So it's like, it is strange seeing characters, like their traits carry over season to season. You know, when you have like, you know, there's one character that's basically, she can't deal with death. She just smiles when she hears it and that, you know, and it's just like, or the magician, like, you know, there's magic all the way through the shows and stuff.
Clown,
Fizbo and stuff.
Fizbo makes me so happy.
Or Bolwyn's a part of it. Like everyone's like, you know, it's great to have them just carry on.
It's a nice show.
Yeah, and it's it finishes up in 22 minutes, which is great. The last episode I watched was like a 5-minute one. It's like it was great. It was like Mitch and Cam were at the airports and they took some sleeping pills.
Yeah.
And they have to get to their flight to Dallas. And it's like
they're
just
like
tripping. They're just like
they need to get to like a gate that's like 3 gates down or something like that.
Yeah. And it's shot in 5 minutes as well, so it's like timed for 5 minutes, and then the next bit's 5 minutes. And I was like, that's really smart. So at least they change it up and, you know, have things there, but they also stick to like the Halloween part episodes.
Yeah,
and,
they've got that kind of traditional stuff. There's a few episodes. I'm sure there's one that's all on like FaceTime as well.
That's a great episode. Yeah, that was
some interesting kind of concepts
with
and some
Andy
of that
and like they went to Vegas and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that is a really good episode.
Yeah.
You don't miss sitcoms like that.
I do. And I did think I missed the boat on Modern Family. Like, the only reason that I kind of know of Modern Family was because of Jason and Angie.
Yes, Jason was what got me into it.
Yeah, Jason was just like, he would sit and just watch it, and there was one of the episodes, it was like, where the boy had, Luke had a party, and Manny was around, like, and he was just like, oh, the parents are going to come back and that. He's like, no, it's fine, that lie worked, and he's like, watch out for the spread, and they turn the camera around, it's just like a bowl with chips in the middle of it, like potato chips. And Jason was like, that's a fucking good spread, man. That's a good spread. And then anytime we put food on the table, was like, is that a spread there, Tom? And he was like, that's fucking good.
It does really well with, like, it's obviously very, very funny. So
yes.
the comedy's brilliant in it. But there also, there is a story about family and stuff like that. And, a lot of shows really miss that kind of boat, and they either go too far one way or too far the other way. Like, things like Scrubs and stuff like that, there's emotional moments, but also just hilarious comedy through it as well.
Yeah. I miss Scrubs.
Yeah, and they do tackle like quite, good issues as well. It's not a case of like, oh, we'll just go for that. Especially like, mothers going back to work after being not working for so long. During the filming of it as well, when gay rights became, like gay marriage, became official and stuff. So like they wanted to do that, and adoption, and how Jay being from an older generation and stuff. Like Ed O'Neill's fucking phenomenal. That he's so good. Like again,
he's brilliant. Because
again, he plays the grumpy old man, not willing to learn or change anything, and you can slowly see through the seasons. The stubbornness is still there, but he is willing.
Yeah,
to, let his guard down sometimes. The whole scene that they had, like, there was like Gloria had some book person coming through talking about emotions and stuff. It's like Jay doesn't want to do anything to do that because it's like, you're just taking away my time and stuff. And this is the reason why I don't do this. And everyone's like, what happens is the lassie gets called and she's like, oh, I've got to go. Like my ex-husband's calling. It's like, wait, why have you got an ex-husband? You said all this stuff.
Yeah,
and everyone's in bits. And she's like, you can't leave.
Did he fix this? Yeah.
And it's like the moment Ed O'Neill has, like, he's saying, like, we don't need to speak about this. Back in my day, I didn't have anything to do with my dad and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he breaks down, like, so, I'm like, fucking hell.
That's a wee gut punch of a moment, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's like, but then he was like, I was close to my dad when blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. I was close to my dad and that happened, and the range that goes from like, Scrubs quite like haha funny to really serious.
Yeah, holy shit. Yeah.
I think Modern Family does it better because as much as I love Scrubs,
it's a big statement. That's
I
the
think so.
spiciest take.
That's a hot take,
as much as I love Scrubs, I think Modern Family does it. It does it a lot better. And I
Modern
think it's-
Family's more consistent.
Yeah, and it's again, there's more characters to like than there is in Scrubs. I think as well.
I think when you get by season 4 in Scrubs, you could probably stop the show
Yeah,
because they never really went anywhere else with those characters.
yeah. There was no growth.
But
I think
Modern-
that was a big thing. Like
Yeah.
growth, it kind of stopped. Like Jay and Glory having the wee one as well. Like having an older
dad
and stuff like that, and how he was like, shit, I can't smoke and eat cheese all the time. I've got to make sure I can live as long as I can, so the wee man can see me.
smoke and eat cheese all the time. You're fucked.
Hey, I only eat cheese on pizza. Like,
How many pizzas are you getting?
Just a little breeze, okay.
Mate, you've just made me hungry for pizza. Stop mentioning pizza.
but yeah, so see, like obviously, like, I first started watching Modern Family like ages ago because I heard about it on, I think it was Reddit or something like that when it was big at the time, and so I did kind of like see it first when I was quite young, and I can't even remember the lassie's name, but like it's one of those things that the first time you watch it, and this is how you know you're kind of growing up. What was like Haley?
Yeah.
So like first time you see it, you're like she's a wee dirty, she's hot, and then like you get a bit older, and then you watch it, and you're like Sofia Vergara,
Nah, she's the one.
nice. But then see when you're actually like an adult and you watch it and you're like, nah man, Claire Dunphy, Julie Bowen,
Bowen.
she's hot and she's in charge, and it's like yeah.
I'm gonna keep letting you talk.
No,
Here's maybe she's fetishes coming out.
I get, yeah. It's just like you're growing up. If you grew up with those characters as well, and you're just like, I think it's hard because I can remember my brother was saying that, like, he had an issue with Game of Thrones was quite a lot like that. That it wasn't like an attraction to a character; it was that the character was young, and then she had like quite a raunchy scene like seasons ago. And he's like, "Oh, that's like no, she's not allowed to do that." Like, it was very much like an opposite thing. Like, I've seen her being wee. She shouldn't be doing stuff like that.
What's her face? The one
like
Arya.
Arya.
Maybe Arya.
Maisie
Arya
Williams,
Stark.
because
She has like a sex scene in like the last episode or something like that.
So so he's like
very,
he was very much like, it's just wrong seeing that because like I've seen her
as a kid.
and
She was so funny though. She's probably like, look, I want to get one in by the end of this show.
Which is funny because I think a lot of the actresses, like, basically to get the job, they had, it was in the first season already, there's a sex scene, there's a nude scene, but then after it, and they had a bit of power, they were like, yeah, never again.
Fuck that shit.
Plenty of other people to get naked in this show, like, we're done.
It didn't really take away from the show
No,
either.
it didn't at all.
Yeah.
Because you needed that first season to go, like, to be a bit wild, to like hook people, and then like you can calm
Gotcha,
down
bitch.
after. I was just looking up there. There is a cartoon version of Married with Children coming out.
Yeah, with the voice actors.
Yeah,
it's
it's voice actors, and I was like, I should just go watch Married with Children.
That is a fucking brilliant show. I loved that even when I was young.
Yeah, I remember really liking it because like, I was always like the Baldwin.
That Simpsons,
right? I can always remember him doing that. He would look away once he's bald, and then it's so funny the things that cross over to other shows like Modern Family. There's Baldwin. He talks about like his fighting days and stuff. Like, let's rock. That's one of his quotes that he used to say in Married with Children.
how big was his house? He was a shoe salesman.
No, he was a
shoe salesman.
I was a shoe salesman in Married with Children.
Married with Children. Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were talking about closets.
Close.
One of the worst names.
Is it Nicole Applegate as well?
No, Christina
Christina
Applegate,
Applegate, yeah.
And
Sorry.
Katie Seagal.
Katie Seagal.
The voice of Leela was the
Maybe
mum.
after you guys like, I think I like that girl.
Yeah, that's another one as well, and it's like, when you're young and you see Christina Applegate in like skimpy clothes and stuff like that.
Yeah, even the woo it
Yeah.
came from the audience that when she came in the
And
steps.
that's when, because you were that age, you were kind of like, something's happening here.
Yeah.
But then, and you always were like, oh, that nagging wife, Peggy, and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And then you get older and you're like,
Actually,
hot redhead always wanting sex. Like, what's wrong with that? Why is he so fucking grumpy? Like,
He was just at that point in his life, he's like, that fucking what's the fucking guy's name again?
Al Bundy.
Al Bundy.
Yeah.
How did I forget Al Bundy?
No.
Oh, fucking Al Bundy's got the life, man.
Yeah.
What's 95 in a shoe shop?
Dealing with fat people and he insults them and they always come back. That is your job. You should have that, man. You just slag folk.
I think that was probably one of the. Well, I mean, it must have been one of the first shows I watched where it was just like insult comedy.
Yeah.
You know, like, and the things that he would say were just so funny.
Because it was on, like, again, like, as, you know, folk in the UK, like, that only came on, like, Sky One, from what I remember, through cable and satellite. And it was more like that was one of the first Fox shows, like the American ones. It was like, let's just see how this goes. And it went on for seasons and seasons because the viewership was so high.
Yeah, I remember loving it, man.
Yeah. Had some guest stars and
Is that
stuff.
on
It had
Sky
Anthrax in it. It had King Kong Bundy.
I can't remember what it used to be on.
Sky One.
It was definitely
Was it
Sky One.
Sky One?
Definitely Sky One.
So that and The Simpsons and wrestling.
Yeah.
I had like those like three things is like stuck in my brain about Sky One.
Yeah.
I don't know if
X-Files.
I don't know if that's a channel anymore. But
It
like,
was like...
Yeah, Sky Max, I think it's called now.
Not to bring the podcast down, but...
Here we go.
Oh, yeah, fuck's sake.
You know, the Katie Seagal thing that happened. Well, she was pregnant in real life, so they wrote it into the story.
You did, yeah.
And then she ended up having a miscarriage, so then it was like a dream sequence. Like,
that has brought me down.
yeah.
That was such a shame, that, as well.
You were getting a bit too rowdy here, so
Wait, let's bring it even further. Remember when she was on that show on
Eight
ABC?
Simple Rules.
8 Simple Rules, and then the guy died, who was JD's dad, also in Scrubs.
Oh, John Ritter?
John Ritter. He died like halfway through the show, and then they were just like, we'll just continue the show, and you're like, what?
Can't really do that, yeah.
It's like a Justin Roiland situation.
We always bring it back.
There we go. Back
Gotta do it more.
Hamish, what have you been up to?
Are you done, Dom? You done anything else in
Hamish,
Brighton?
we know what Hamish has been doing.
Yeah.
How do you know what I've been doing?
The only other thing that I've been doing, I've been playing Kirby and the Forgotten Land on stream. Have really been enjoying that. This also proves the fact that the Switch can do really good games and really nice looking games if given time. When people say, like, you know, it's all about like processing power and stuff like that, that does help. But a good looking game and a good playing game will always stand the test of time.
Yeah.
Good art
Even though
direction.
it's such good art and it's, oh my god, it's just too cute.
You sucked off a car yet?
Sorry?
Yeah, you were a car, yeah.
I was a car, I was a cone, I was a vending machine, I was a staircase.
Filled himself with water.
Yeah. I was like just
Tom
walking
just
about.
walking about, just sort of sucking, you can see.
Yeah,
Exactly.
pretty much, yeah.
Gobble gobble, bitch.
I'll be honest, like, this is, I mean, it sounds like such a simple way of putting it, but it just looks like such a fun game.
Yeah.
Like, I should probably be able to, you know, go further into it and explain why, but it's just one of those games you're just like, this is nice.
Yeah, it's visually appealing. That, like, even see
Hack
if
your own
I wasn't
Switch.
playing this, like,
Hack your own Switch.
even if I wasn't playing this and it was like yourself, you or Hamish, you were playing it, I'd think I'd still watch it and be like, this is, I don't know what this is. It's like so relaxing and
It's Kirby,
chill.
mate. Kirby's
Yeah.
just Kirby's a fucking
the Kirby
lad,
charm,
man.
innit?
He just
Yes.
does what he wants.
Yeah.
Does
Is he a he?
the thing. Kirby is like asexual. She's
Doesn't have a
Why
bow.
put labels
But
on
doesn't
him?
have a bow like Miss Pac-Man, so
Aye,
it's
that's true.
gotta be a guy.
You can't differentiate that way, can you?
Yeah.
You want a skirt?
Not anymore, anyway.
I think you can't wear a skirt.
Not anymore.
Aye, Hamish, this is a bit of a podcast where we do like a special just me and you chat. You ever seen like Letterman?
I mean, I've seen like clips, but I've not watched Letterman.
No, lately I've been watching the George Carlin interviews and stuff like that.
Oh, George Carlin, he's good.
Because-
Well, he was, because he's dead, but...
So many people talk about how George Carlin wouldn't be like criticising people's comedy. Like, he did all the time,
Yeah.
but he said you're allowed to say it, but you can't moan when people criticise you about it.
Yeah. Aye.
So like people now think that being criticised is the worst crime on the planet.
That's pretty much like, if you look at any Netflix special, any recent Netflix...
Triggered!
Yeah, they're all talking about how, oh, everyone's complaining about what I say, and it's like, oh, so what? Like,
Also, who gives a fuck? You've got a Netflix special.
yeah, you don't need to worry about the peasants.
Oh mate, like the amount, like see when a comedian starts talking about oh you can't, oh you're not gonna be able to handle what I'm saying. Oh, you're like, just fucking say it, mate.
Aye. And it's never even that spicy, you know. It's,
No, really, no.
There's always more vulgar or, you know, harsher comedians out there, so...
Yeah, that's if that's your lead in, is this is going to be fucking mental. You wow me, yeah,
it
wow
needs
me.
to be, yeah, it needs to be like pretty fucking mental. Yeah,
Yes, Bill Burr, don't say shit like that before.
nah,
Hi, Bill Burr.
Bill Burr's
Oh,
good.
we've already mentioned Bill Burr on this podcast.
Yeah. Just name dropping in the hopes that it'll somehow
haven't-
get to him. You know,
I haven't watched good stand up in a while. mostly because everyone's obsessed with the same 4 topics, like trans people and fucking cancel culture
and COVID,
Elon Musk. Like, who gives a like? There's more things than those 4 topics.
Yeah.
Like Ricky Gervais, man. I saw him live not long ago in Glasgow.
He's playing tonight in Glasgow.
And 50% was good, and then 50% was the things he was annoyed on Twitter about.
Yeah.
And I was like, mate, I've heard this before.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Read it. I've read it. You've espoused all of this before, and it, you know, it wasn't really funny then. You're just mad. You're just old man shouting a cloud.
Yeah.
But like, I went to see Daniel Sloss. He was pretty good.
Yeah, he's good.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
He's
I
put
enjoyed
to,
his show. Yeah.
He's quite charismatic. He's got like good crowd control.
Yeah.
We're going to see Darryl Breen soon as well.
Oh, you'll be good.
Yeah,
Got Jim Jeffries tickets for March.
Yeah,
Jim Jeffries, like no, I was thinking about the other comedian, the Welsh comedian who's not well at the moment.
Oh, I know the guy you mean.
Yeah. So
I can't remember his name, but I've got his face in my mind.
I think we were looking at Jim Jeffries, but we've got so many things booked that we're trying not to book anything else.
Yeah.
Because we got Kevin Hart.
Yeah, when
you got tickets for Kevin Hart?
Did I not say it to you?
Yeah.
I was like last year. We know that.
Aye, that would because like you did say.
Because I bought one for Ross as well.
Huh.
Did I not say? I probably put it in the chat.
You may have put it in the chat. I didn't even know he was playing. Maybe you did see it. I just didn't see it.
Fucking Ross is never going to hear this probably because he doesn't want to listen to us anyway. But like, you went out with Ross on Friday night or something like that?
Saturday night. Yeah.
And he texted me like Sunday morning, like, have you got any spare tickets for Kevin Hart? And I was like, why would I have a spare ticket?
For who?
Kevin Hart, for his mum.
Oh, right, okay.
But I was like, he was like, have you got any spare tickets? And I was like, I don't know, mate. You'll need to like go on Ticketmaster and buy it. Like, I wouldn't buy a spare ticket for it's like £60 for the ticket. I wouldn't buy a couple of spare tickets.
Yeah, just in case. In case your friend's mum wants to come.
No, I wouldn't tell him that was the reason I bought the spare tickets.
I hear mum's coming with us. Why?
Wait, I never heard about this.
Well, that's good, man.
I just thought it was a weird question. I was like, have you got any spare tickets? I was like,
that's a bit
no.
strange. But Kevin Hart will be good. Like his last one, like the one they did in London, I was that was okay.
It was alright. His last one, we went to see that live as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
It was me and you?
That's the.
It was just you and me. Yeah.
That's the gun.
Me and you?
That segment was like gun compartment. That's
he's like
that's fucking great.
He's just like, oh, I'm ready. Like, that's good.
That's a good.
I still like he peaked with that.
Let me explain.
I think that, like, see when he divorced his ex-wife and then he was between relationships and he was just getting super famous.
Yeah.
But now he's like family friendly, Kevin Hart, and he's all about positivity, so he's not quite got that mean streak
that
there.
edge.
Yeah, and it does happen to comedians when they get more famous and they get a bit more detached from reality and you know what people
Joe
are
Rogan.
actually like. Joe Rogan, yeah. Like, I mean,
that money.
Most comedians.
Yeah,
to be honest, it does happen to, you know.
Mate, I can't wait to detach from reality when I get rich.
Yeah. See when it happens, like, where's that Matrix plug? Yeah, it is. Let's detach.
If you've not got Who's Hamish, just buy one, mate.
Yeah, if you really want to detach from reality, there's plenty of ways to do it. Like, you don't need to be rich.
Mate, I was watching.
Have you had this fermented meat?
I was literally watching a podcast the other day. It was like a guy talk. It was political, right? And there was a guy talking to a landlord about the state of housing and stuff like that. And the guy went, "Oh, what are renters to do if they can't afford the rent?" And he's like, "Well, they'll just need to move out or buy their own house." And you're like, mate, if they can't afford your rent, how are they going to afford to buy their own house?
How are they
You're not
putting money away to get a deposit or a mortgage?
Yeah, because like we were talking about, see, like how now that sticking to jobs aren't when like what it used to be. Because the case, like it doesn't matter of like how long you stay at a job now. Like people, it's not the case of like maybe 20 years ago you got out of school, you had that job. That was you.
It's
now more common that people jump between jobs. I think me and Angie were talking about this, and I think she did say it was like, yeah, people, you don't owe these companies anything now because they won't look after you. As soon as something goes wrong, you're the first ones online for it.
Yeah.
Say goodbye. They're like, well, we got to keep, you can't talk about record-breaking sales and stuff like, what obviously what Microsoft have been doing, and then been like, well, we're going to have to cut 10,000 jobs, bye. And you're like, shit.
And not even that, like even if you stay in the job, there doesn't seem to be as much, not in every industry obviously, but as much potential for, advancement.
Growth,
so if you want to get a better salary or whatever, then you need to look at other jobs,
Yeah, that's true.
Right. I don't know what podcast are we now?
We're just a podcast.
I've been in the same workplace for 15 years, and I'm just about to leave to go somewhere else. And I've had 3 different jobs in that time, and it was good for a long time. And then all of a sudden, new people come in and things change.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's about cutting benefits, terms and conditions. Controlling wages by instilling fear of like redundancies and stuff like that. And I work in a place that should be protected for all that because it's almost public. It is, but it's in a weird kind of halfway house. But like all the really successful people in the field that I'm in move jobs every 2 years.
Yeah.
Or less.
Yeah.
I know a guy on like 6 figures and he's worked for 7 companies in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Because he'll pick up skills really quickly, or he'll network and move. Because I don't think we live in a world where doing your job well gets you recognised. It's short-term results, even if long-term it fucks everybody.
Yeah. It's again, it's like what people put on a
Let's
CV.
link this back to Gibbs, Bow. Link it back to Gibbs.
I mean, it's like what they do in the industry. It's like when you get some head honcho that comes into like I don't know. Let's just say you've just acquired big companies. Like, I don't know, Blizzard, Activision.
Bethesda. Say, randomly, off the top of my head.
And you have to make, we need to make sure that we hit the ground running. What's the best thing you can do?
Trim the fat.
Trim the fat. And by fat, we mean your workers.
People's livelihoods.
Yeah. It's people. That's the thing. I think
mate,
Jim Stillen said, I think, like, he put up a video about how they try to desensitize the word, they say workers and stuff, and they say like, it's just people that are there. It's not people. They don't use the word people, they just use workers.
Yeah.
To dehumanize the fact that these are actual livelihoods that they're fucking over. It's
not cattle. What's the other one? There's like a term for like the labour market and stuff like that. Like, no, you're talking about people. Yeah.
People is like, people don't want to work. It's like, no, people don't want to be working for shit.
This is why when I don't know if we mentioned this was recording, like, do not simp for these giant companies. You're not their bottom line. You're not their bottom line.
Yeah.
Their bottom line is a number. Yeah. It's not a person or people. It's not people pleasing. Because as you can tell, they're not giving people what they want because we're getting live service after live service that keep fucking failing. But they obviously are making money.
Yeah.
Or they wouldn't be doing them.
You're not the number unless like you're Jewish or something.
Whoa. Alright, can you?
So Saturday night, right?
Hamish,
Saturday day, right?
Oh, sorry, have we finished our political rants?
Yeah, I'm putting a stop to it.
We've smashed the Tories. Sorry.
So during the day, went and met friend Gareth. We went to like Lomond Brewery.
Yeah.
In the industrial estate place.
That's near my gym, Hamish, and where Jason banged his head.
Yeah. So, have you been in before?
No, I haven't, sorry.
It's like a weird week it's not like a pop-up one, because, it is permanent, but like the bar and everything's made out of like wooden pallets and stuff
it's
like
very,
that.
very bizarre.
Hipster.
Aye, it is a wee bit. And it's all like IPAs and stuff like that, which I'm not usually like a massive fan of.
Both.
But, yeah.
I'm providing commentary over what you're saying.
So Gareth and I are there, and we're just trying a few different drinks, getting a few floats and stuff like that. Do you know what a float is?
Yeah, it's the wee paddle full of fucking...
a few wee different
So once you drink it, you can just
slap
the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Not allowed to generate here, Hamish.
I know you knew, but, in case any of the listeners didn't know.
I forgot about them.
Yeah. But, so we're there, and it's busier. Like, I've never been before, but Gareth, like, so this is a lot busier than usual. And I'm just like, what? I'm playing with a dog because it's dog friendly.
Yeah.
You was like, what?
You got some relevant conversation. I got a full dog.
So we're reading this wee magazine, and it's like a wee beer aficionado magazine thing at the bar.
Yeah.
And then we get to like the last page, and we see this old guy, and we're like, he looks familiar. And then we look over, and he's like sitting on one of the couches over there, and we're like, oh right, okay. So it's this. The whole, like, these group of people, can't even remember the names of them because I had quite a few beers, obviously. And they just go around and give, like, awards to different beers, like, their kind of favourite beers and stuff like that.
Oh, right, okay.
And me and Gareth are like, how do we do this? So they're having, like, they're like, oh, come to the beer festival in Glasgow soon, and we'll, like, sign you up and stuff like that. So yeah, we're in a beer cult now.
It's like the least offensive cult you've been in.
Yeah.
Do you say with like IPAs? Like, are you like? I'm not a huge fan of IPAs.
No, I'm not. I'm like some of them were.
I think they all taste like beer. I always go like, oh, it's got a fruity scent. I'm like, no, I mean
these some of these were like way out there. There was like a milk stout and stuff like that, like made with milk and that, which I think is it's not uncommon, but there was ones that was like properly like
you could taste
juice and stuff like that, and just
yeah.
I always think they taste better as ciders. Like personally, from it, in any IPA I've had, I've always been like, it's not carbonated, or it's very much like limitedly carbonated. It's like very flat.
Yeah,
and I'm like, but again, like if they've got ones that do taste like they do taste different.
I'd say the best ones were like for me tolerable. I was like, yeah,
the best ones were free.
Yeah, I can drink them because I want a beer basically.
Yeah,
but so. We started quite early and we hadn't had anything to eat, so we went back to his, we got some food, and he starts falling asleep on the couch. It was like 6 o'clock.
That sounds familiar.
Here comes a love story. One thing led to the other.
This also sounds like a stag do that we were on. Someone decided to leave at 6 o'clock and we were like, this is shit. Just go to Catty.
I was so mad that night.
I know. Sorry. Anyway,
he's only wee. But so I stay for a wee while longer, go home, get a train, and then I'm like, you know what, I'm still kind of in the mood to drink. This is like my only few days off together for like the next couple of months. Mm-hmm. So make the most of it. So I go into the pub, see some people, have a few drinks, and that's when friend of the podcast, Ross, texts me. And he's like, just Catty, ? And I'm like, mate, I literally just got back from being out. Alright, let's go.
You're super predictable. Like, honestly. And I knew it because Ross phoned me earlier on that day and was like, hey, do you want to come out to get something to eat and stuff? And I was like, nah. Like, no, that's the end of that. I said more than that. I just wasn't feeling great, and like I was just like,
that was the gist of it.
I was like, no, sorry, man, I can't eat. And then I sent him some recommendations for food because I think he's starting to like go out more, obviously.
Yeah,
which is good.
And then you put that on
Instagram
or something, and I was like, oh, that's Ross and Hamish.
Yeah.
How
was it, Catty though?
It was good. So I met. It was him and his mum in Solid, and then like basically as soon as I got there, the mum was like, right, I'm gonna head off, and I was like, it's not because of me, is it? And he was like, no, I just get things to do, and I was like, so basically he's being babysat, and this was the changing of the shift.
Yes.
But yeah, we went to Cat House. It was good. It was like, a lot of gay people in the Cat House these days.
Yeah,
like I remember hearing a wee while ago, like places like Polo and other gay clubs, too many straight people started going there. So
really,
yeah. So I'm like, and I think they do drag nights and stuff like that in the Catty.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was busiest I'd seen it in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, any time going into the smoking area, properly like, squeezing by people. But otherwise, it was just Cat House.
Okay.
If you ask Ross about this, I can guarantee you the story that he's going to tell. We went outside, because I was having a cigarette, and we got talking to these two lasses. And I can't remember the initial conversation, but he was like asking, how old do you think we are? Who do you think's oldest and stuff like that. And then
he tried to throw you under a bus.
And see, I was wearing like that kind of like
old man clothes,
just a black jacket. Like what do they call like the
old man jackets?
Did you have your pipe when you were smoking?
No.
Did you have a flat cap? Did you say, do you like Jamiroquai?
Just my walking stick. And I was like,
Calvin Harris.
Do you like the PlayStation? I like the PlayStation.
Sorry.
So yeah, like did that. He was doing that at home, and then. Like they were saying, like, oh no, but you're like you look a bit older and stuff like that. Well, but you're both quite handsome, and like they called him handsome.
So they're liars then.
Yeah. Just be your goggles, mate. But then one of them, like he said his name was Ross, and I was like, oh, handsome Ross. And then he texted me after he got home, like, from now on I'm being known as handsome Ross.
Good lad.
Like, man, you're really going through some shit, aren't you?
Good lad.
That's nice though. They want to mean. Because they should have been.
No, you would have been.
They were obviously thinking, like, might be able to get some free drinks out of these suckers, you know what I mean?
But these handsome suckers.
So that was my Saturday, anyway. Been playing Marvel Midnight Suns.
Yes.
Did
Deadpool DLC come out for that yet?
It is out yet. I've not played it yet, because I've not actually finished the game. There's so much more to it than I realised.
How long is this game, Hamish? just as a...
In Persona 5 terms.
I mean, if you really
right, in Persona terms. How many Persona 5s?
It's probably maybe like
fractions?
4/5 of a Persona 5.
Oh, that's quite long. That's
yeah.
60 hours. I mean, we're going to make that a thing, by the way.
That's if you want to do everything. Like, because I didn't realise... I thought it was just, mission after mission, so it's like Firaxis, the XCOM people.
I get you.
So I thought it was basically just going to be mission after mission, that kind of combat with the wee card game element added in.
Yeah.
But you can actually kind of like make a wee character, customise it, run about, and you're in like an old abbey, which is like your wee base of operations, and then you get other superheroes to join you and stuff like that. And then you can like build up relationships with them and stuff like that, and train with them and stuff like that.
Persona?
Well, a lot of people say that it's like Fire Emblem.
I was about to say
yeah. They liken it to that. But there's quite a sizable map that you, like when you level up, you can explore more of and stuff like that. And there's like wee mysteries and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's way more to it than I initially thought.
Is the interactions between the characters better than like Ultimate Alliance?
Yeah, aye. And you can tell they've actually kind of done their research, because the reference things that have happened, like not only in comic storylines but also like jokingly in movies and stuff like that. Like even with Spider-Man, remember Spider-Man 3 and he gets like the emo haircut and stuff like that, and the dance. You can even, if you're at a certain friendship level with them, like you can comment about that, and he was like, "Oh, did Robbie tell you about that?" Like Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
So there's just.
That's good then. References and stuff like that.
It's really fleshed out. It's really kind of in depth, a lot more than I thought. And the combat's, I was going to say a lot of fun, but we try not to.
That's an old school reference now. You got to use it.
Yeah. No, the combat is a lot of fun. It's interesting, obviously, because you're drawing cards and it's different, and you're leveling up your heroes, and you can edit your deck and all that kind of thing. I won't go too much into that because that's just the logistics of it. But
it seems quite engaging, like these cards, sort of the card game aspect of it. Because again, like they had the Marvel card game. I was playing that for a while, like the mobile one, where it was like Capcom kind of one.
You were playing? Is it not Marvel? Fuck, you were playing that for Strike Force?
Strike Force is like that's like a turn-based combat one.
Yeah,
but there was a cardboard
so you'd
one.
Be a weeb if they were fucking comic book characters.
I mean. Nah, it's a geek, not a weeb, mate.
You'd play JRPGs, but if fucking Spider-Man was in it.
I wouldn't be a JRPG then, would it?
Spider-Man?
Well, have you ever seen the Spider-Man, Wolverine anime?
No, I've not.
I've
seen the Batman anime, yeah.
It was okay.
There's also a Iron Man anime as well.
Really?
Iron Man anime, yeah. That's nothing to
it. Cut that out.
But, yeah, so, like, obviously there's people like Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and, they actually do a really good job of getting the characters' conversations,
natural.
Yeah, natural, and as they probably would speak and stuff like that. It seems as though there was going to be like romance elements in it and stuff like that, but then I heard that Marvel said, "Nah, there's like canon romances with people, so you kind of just go and bang people that are meant to be going out with other people and stuff like that." But like a lot of the conversations do get like flirty and stuff like that,
but there's a limit.
Yeah, aye, basically.
Who you try to fire into, Hamish?
Magic, mate.
God, you had that answer just ready.
Mate, she's like, see, the thing is, like, and I remember I was complaining about this before because you can't choose your, like, as many villains as heroes, even though Venom's coming on the season pass, which is quite cool. But you do have, like, a dark and a light balance, and that can unlock new abilities and stuff like that, new cards and that kind of thing. But the only reason is just, like, you become, like, best friends with people. And it was her first because she's like a demon child. She's realms limbo and stuff like that. So when I was saying all the evil shit, she was like, "I like you," and I was like, "Oh, I like you too."
And she's like, "Oh, wavelength."
You like Homelander? I like Homelander.
I made it all the way to like the maximum dark balance because there's an achievement for getting max dark and then max light. So now I'm working my way back to light. So now people like Captain America loves me and stuff like that. Like. And the goody two shoes and stuff like that. But
I think it was Rory's playing it as well, and he told me a story about who was asking someone on a date, but they thought it was training, so Captain America came along as well.
Oh, so that was like a book club. Blade,
Blade's book club.
Blade fancies Captain Marvel, and then he makes, because there's like there's a book club. There's like a workshop thing, which is like Ghost Rider and Spider-Man, and then eventually Iron Man joins, and then there's like the emo kids. It stands for something I can't remember, but that's like I don't know if you'll know something like like the Runaways, Nico Minoru and stuff like that. Yeah, the mystical kind of people. You get a wee dog as well, a wee demon dog called Charlie.
Oh, that's a great
pet her every day, and there's a wee cat and stuff like that. You know, I know that's such.
This game just for you, Hamish.
Yeah, I mean, it actually really is. But I would definitely recommend it. I know you're not a big fan of season passes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I say that right up until Final Fantasy 16 gets one.
Yeah,
and then I'll buy that shit straight away.
But no, like far more comprehensive than I initially realised. Even like the amount of levels and stuff like that. Obviously, you go through the story and you get new locations, but it doesn't even. It's not like the same ones over and over again.
Yeah.
You get environmental hazards and stuff like that. So there's
So
a
that's
lot
cool.
to it. Yeah, and there's a lot of tactics to it as well.
I'll buy it eventually.
I mean, you should look
We've
for
all
it on
gone on
sale.
Game Pass soon. Just watch it.
Yeah,
I know.
as soon as Hugh buys it.
Go on, you.
I'm not buying any new games, man. Oh well, I'm a liar. Shit, what game's out in the next couple of weeks? I know there's one. Continue, Hamish. Continue.
Harry Potter.
That's I might get Harry Potter.
I'm waiting until that goes down in price.
I've seen like some of the trailers for it. Like again, I'm not huge on Harry Potter like itself. I always like. I think anytime it's been brought up, they're like, "Oh, did you ever read the books?" And that. And I was like, "Yeah, I read like the first one," but I didn't really enjoy it because it was like I remember putting it down after my palette. This is when it just came out, so I was 13, 14 when it first came out, and he gave me a copy of it, and I read it, and I put it, and he was like, "What do you think of it?" I went, "It's a school."
Mate,
yeah, but imagine went. But it's still school. He was like, "Yeah." I went,
Tom's like, I don't like school.
I don't like school.
Enough of that,
I don't like school.
But-
I'm sorry. Like that was it. And then that has always been implanted in my brain. It's like you're still doing school, but it's magic stuff.
Yeah.
It's still school though.
Like it was fine. It was, but like see when I was younger, I read loads of I was a big young adult reader, and
You read better things.
I read better things, and then like I think as it got more famous and she made the books bigger and bigger and bigger, she was adding things, and they weren't making sense to the rules she'd set before. I know you said like, oh, like what? Like, and I can't remember them off the top of my head.
That was Shane. So that was
And I was just like, because I remember that being my feeling. Like this isn't making sense. Like the reactions the characters have weren't making sense anymore, and I was like, this is just bad writing now.
Yeah.
But I can understand it. It's a fucking kids, teenager type book.
Yeah.
and she's writing to her audience now. Like she's like, I've got my audience here, so it's fan service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all made sense in the beginning, and it's like, really?
I mean, and the ending was just blah.
Yeah, it was
Like,
really
and
lackluster.
he ended up becoming a fucking wizard policeman, and he married his best pal's sister and stuff. And I was like, this is the most boring milquetoast ending I've ever heard in my life.
I've never read any of the books, and I've not even seen all the films. Like I just
Films are actually alright.
I didn't dislike them. I just didn't have any inkling to continue watching them. Like I think I watched like the Half-Blood Prince, and then that was it.
Yeah.
But I think the game does look quite interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe not full price it, but
Yeah.
But again, like Simon Pegg's on it. He's the head teacher,
Oh, is he? Yeah.
headmaster. Sorry.
Yeah.
And he's
Did you
like,
remember the game?
It's Like a Dragon Ishin. It's coming out soon.
Oh yeah,
Of course it
okay.
is.
What do you mean? Of course, you'd like this game.
No, I just mean, of course, that's one that you would buy
Yeah,
when it
because
comes out.
I fucking love.
But surely that's going to be on Game Pass eventually.
I think it is.
I mean, all the other ones are, aren't they?
I don't know, I think for some reason I've pre-ordered it on PS5.
For some reason.
I don't know, like obviously I had a reason at the time, and I can't remember what the reason is.
Have you played anything else or watched anything, man?
The only
wait.
other thing is
Come on, tell us, bruv.
Yeah.
Tell us, wee boy.
earlier on I was playing JoJo.
Yeah.
Just because it's on Game
Now,
Pass.
Dom, he is admitting to sucking some dicks. If you don't know the internet meme, if you play or like JoJo, you love sucking dicks.
All right. So we're all with the dick
We're not
sucking.
punching, yeah, we're
Yes.
sucking,
Okay.
dick
100%.
dick sucking podcast.
Did you get any of the stories
Stickers
from
in,
the
we
game?
got
Because
it.
I've got a game for the PS3.
It's not like that. It's not like a story mode in it.
No, wait. Is it just fights? It's just fights.
just
isn't it?
fights.
Well, it is the story, but you're just doing the fights.
Well, I don't know because like
Did you fight Dio?
I can't even remember. Yeah, I did. Yeah, and I was like, I recognize that.
Hamish was like,
Yeah.
I like Dio. You would be a cunt. Everyone,
Wild of Venom just coming up.
everyone likes Dio in a certain way, but you'd be Homelander and that fucking vampire so much.
His vampirism, because I saw that was his like. It was a pain in the ass to fight though.
It,
Oh, yeah, it's
it
a pain,
changes like fuck. Like the first two like stories in JoJo have this certain type of fighting, and then the third, he's like, Now we're just doing punching ghosts.
And there's
Stands.
stands, yeah. I really had no clue. I was saying this to Dom before you got here. I have no fucking idea what was going on or any of the people or anything.
No,
like
I
that.
read it as well and watched it. I don't know what's going on.
So this
But
is just a JoJo reference. This is a JoJo podcast.
It's not like you do level 1, level 2, level 3. It's got it separated into all what I imagine of the seasons.
Or the arcs, yeah.
And then there's 6 or 7 battles. You choose which one. But it did say at the start it can be like canon battles or just fantasy ones. And basically you do enough of them and then you unlock the boss battle of that one. But I mean, it's
alright.
Sometimes I just get in the mood for a fighting game because it's just pick up and play and easy to just
It's
fanny
an
about.
anime fighter, mate. It's very 7 out of 10 game.
Oh no!
I mean, it's twice the Joker.
Nowhere near 7 out of 10, mate. Like,
Well, 7 out of 10 for me because I know and like the source material.
yeah.
So like, if you know the source material and you're like, I know
you get
those
invested in
references
it.
and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I know, and, like, you know the characters. You've got Good Boy Jonathan. You've
I
got
don't-
Badass Joseph. You've got Autistic Jotaro. That's actually, I think that's canon now.
I think
bro.
it's canon that he is autistic.
the only
I mean, but he's
like,
fucking massive for
Aye, he's
17.
fucking-
Seen
yeah.
this cunt?
I've
Guy with
seen
a hat?
I've seen a couple of them. Yeah, I think so.
He's
Yeah, the kind of
17?
straight up hat thing. Yeah, I don't make you.
Just like fucking huge, just like towering
Yada,
over.
yada.
Like, I am in school.
Teach us about that. You could. I'll do your homework.
I think I'd seen Dio before that guy that you're talking about and that Jolene one. Jolene.
Of course you have.
Yeah.
Jolene.
Because I think I remember that scene came out and she's like stripped naked or something
Oh,
like
the
that.
shower in the
And
prison.
I saw it.
She
And
was gonna
I think I
search.
sent it in like the group chat, and I was like, "Surely this isn't really what happens in the show, is it?" And you're like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Where can
Watch
I-
out, it's
can
an
I watch
enemy
this?"
Watch out for that enemy stand.
I've got a game. It's fine. It's a fine game.
Yeah.
So you played it, yeah?
I played it on this is a remaster
Right,
of
okay.
the PS3 game.
It's got
Oh,
a
really?
season pass coming to that as well, where you can get new characters and stuff too, which is so strange.
Yeah.
But when was that out?
Oh, 20.
If it was a
20.
PS3 one, yeah,
Yeah.
But it's got newer stuff, so
It must have updates.
Because it's got Jolene in it, because I remember
I was
Jolene
gonna
was
say, 'cause
originally in it.
and there's stuff after that as well.
Yeah.
She's not like the final chapter, but
No,
so
there's part 7 and part 8 as well. Part
some
8
other
just now.
guy. He keeps saying like, I don't know who I am. Teach me who I am or something like that.
That'll be Joseph.
Yeah, I don't actually
Man,
care.
like,
I don't actually
do you know what I
care,
mean?
so,
See if I have to explain that story. There's like 8
No,
parts, right? And then
no,
the
no.
universe resets and.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
And then Dio burns a dog, you know. It's just,
I was like, what the fuck?
what a
mate,
fucking asshole.
Mate, that dog.
Burned a dog.
Mate, that
did?
first season is wild, right? Because he was honestly just learning how to write manga.
Yeah.
So, like, it changes wildly throughout this run because it was, I think it's like 91 it started,
Yeah.
JoJo.
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
like-
because I remember, with Andy, like that was one of the first anime. When we went searching for anime after Dragon Ball Z, JoJo was one of the ones who came up, and so Steamroller. Steamroller!
Steamroller drops in the sky.
And the punches, and we're sitting watching this going, I have no idea what's going on. And he's like, I don't know what is going on.
Do you know what's so fucking good, right? Do you know I think it's Rob Liefeld,
Yeah.
right? See when he went
the
off and
absolutely terrible artist.
he went off and done his own like comic book stuff in the 90s. Like they created, I think it's Image or whatever.
Oh, is it? Yeah,
When the OVA of JoJo came out, he created a comic that was the OVA but more bland. So it started at the exact same place as the OVA,
Yeah.
and like they had these, I can't remember what they called the stands, but like Star Platinum and that have pretty cool like designs. They're quite
Yeah,
they're complex, but they've got distinctive designs. His is like a big grey Hulk.
me.
And like, and people are just like that to Rob Liefeld, like, do you think you can just rip off the best selling manga in Japan and no one will notice?
Are you tripping, motherfucker?
The audiences aren't that different. There's no crossover
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Like, sorry, Rob Liefeld, everyone else knows what Japan is.
That is
We have heard of it, yeah.
we have heard of the Nippon.
Hamish, did you know what mean Doffway Japan?
Oh, for God's sake.
We've got a couple of questions.
Hey, nice segue.
So this is one that
Segway?
we missed last time.
Yes.
Well, I say we missed it. We were recording.
We finished it.
Yeah,
and we're
then
like,
it came
yeah,
to-
so we do apologise.
So this is from Craig.
Craig.
And Dom, I'm going to ask you this first because I think that you've read it, and I don't imagine Hugh has because he doesn't keep up with these kind of things.
No.
So, Dom, do you feel the difference between Sony and Microsoft is less about this current gen and more about the future of gaming?
So I personally feel that it is more about what we can get people to subscribe to. Because the news just came out there as well. I don't know if you've seen about the PSVR 2. That they've actually halved the pre-order sales.
They have the production in there. They slow the production in there
because they're like,
because no one's buying it.
No one can afford it.
Yeah.
And no one wants to have a headset that's not wireless. It has to be wireless now. No matter how much you say, I've got all these Ks and it looks good, but no, it's not the case. With that, I mean, you can obviously say Microsoft, they just want to make Netflix for games. If they have that stranglehold there, oh my god, that's terrible looking.
So I was just showing Dom that Rob Liefeld JoJo.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a shit Blue Dragon.
Yeah, sort of. But like, fuck Rob Liefeld.
Anyway, I would say that they're both looking for what makes money now rather than what would make them money long term. It's the same with what they did with.
You're trying to lock people in, make the most money long term.
Well, that's just culture right now, though. Like everything's subscription. You don't own anything. You've got to subscribe to everything.
But when we first started this podcast, like all those years ago, that was like our big worry for it, is that everything will become subscription based. Like that's why you've got your game collection and stuff there, because it will potentially do that. But then ease of access it's become so much easier to play whatever game that you want to.
They can railroad you into a subscription like Netflix does because
they own everything.
They also like I've seen so many people say, I wish I didn't get rid of my DVDs or Blu-rays now because like that thing I love is no longer on Netflix.
Yeah.
And that'll happen to Game Pass. Or these. I don't even know what's in Sony's one because even when I had it, I couldn't make heads or tails of what the different levels were. But like, they will now Nintendo you forever. I think Nintendo's even worse than any of them.
Oh, Nintendo's the worst.
So you want to play Super Mario World? It should be fucking so easy to play Super Mario World.
Yeah.
It's a tiny little ROM. You can get it anywhere. But the company that owns it want you to pay how much is Nintendo Online?
$8.99 or something.
$8.99 a month.
Because I'll slap Shigeru Miyamoto across the face before I pay that.
Yeah. So fix the Joy-Cons first before you start charging us shit like that. The family subscription was $14.99 as well. It's like, you can have cloud saving. They're like, who gives a shit? You can save it on your console. Oh, but what if your console doesn't work?
Hacking everybody's consoles? No, but like, this is how they railroad you into it. They just refuse access other ways. They don't give you another option.
Yeah.
It's very similar to an episode of South Park where Cartman got $1 million and he bought a theme park that was going out of business, and he was like, no, it's for me. It's not for anyone else. And that was like a tactic that seemed to work, that everybody wanted to go into the park, but Cartman's like, no, this is my park. And it kept building up more and more steam for it. And he was like, rights were breaking down. And he was like, and then it became so popular because of it. So it was like, it's that kind of, no, you can't have access to this, and that makes me want it more.
It's the FOMO. It's the FOMO. Hamish, repeat that question, because like...
So, Hugh, do you feel the difference between Sony and Microsoft is less about this current gen and more about the future of gaming?
Difference between Sony and Microsoft? In their like ways they're going about business, or is it Activision Blizzard?
I would say maybe probably like they're not focusing on making games; it's more about business part of it. I would say.
Mate, I think people get caught up in the artistic part of games, like, oh, they're doing it for the love of games. They're doing it for money.
Yeah. Like
the reason that Microsoft are trying to back Activision Blizzard, bludgeoned that name, didn't I?
Hey.
Is so they can instead of creating their own first party titles, buy their own first party titles.
Buy them up, boys,
and just have market share.
Yeah.
So, and then what Sony is doing by complaining about that is obviously, they either think that they can persuade enough regulators to knock it back, the merger, which
doesn't look likely.
It probably should, to be honest. But like, it doesn't, like, Sony aren't doing it for you, the gamer. They're doing it for them.
Yeah, of course. Because
they don't want to lose market share, and also they're waiting for their own studios to catch up. Because they're having a real hard time getting their games out there now.
Yeah.
So it's all business strategy. No one gives a fuck about your interest in the games.
Yeah.
It's bottom line shit.
How much money.
Yeah, don't treat these people like they're your friends.
Yeah.
Thanks for the question.
I think the smartest thing to do is to focus on the future, because that's when you would start losing the race or even being close to each other. If one of them slows down
Yeah.
and rests on your laurels, like, oh, we're doing well this current gen, then next gen comes along and you're way behind, so you're fucked.
Yeah, that's what with like PlayStation 3. Like the PlayStation 3 came out and everyone was like, "What the fuck is this? Oh, you can put a printer into it." I know I fucking have that. I can get an Xbox 360. It's cheaper. Oh wait, I know it breaks like every 6 months, but I can
get
still
a
buy
Game
two.
Boy camera with a printer.
But then like when PS4 came out, a lot of people switched to PlayStation 4 because Xbox was like, "Oh no, we're making this more of a this has got DMR in it, and you have to be online all the time. It's got a Connect that nobody wants." And then PlayStation oversold that. And now this year, I think it's very much like you're still neck and neck, and Nintendo are kind of just like, like the Switch did really well and the OLED's done really well, but I think it is quite good, but they're both so similar.
Yeah.
Like,
I think the bit I switch off is when we come back to doing mid life cycle refreshes. Don't know if I'm going to get another console for the next 5-6 years, because I don't know if there's any more things I want now.
Pretty sure you said that last time, and then you were all excited about being the next gen king.
I remember, where's your crown?
Where
is your crown, next gen king?
Like, stop pointing at my hypocrisies. That's short termism, especially like
in this podcast.
I think the reason I did that as well was because like my PlayStation 4 was going to take off.
Yeah, it did sound like it was like taking
and my
off.
Xbox One X, even though it was quite powerful, was struggling. It
was somewhat out of necessity because you wanted to continue gaming, but.
Yeah, but mate, I also think that a lot of people are going to go back to old games. I honestly think that PC might, like, as much as I'm anti-PC, it is the most consumer-friendly way to play games now.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Especially with platforms like Steam that just has so many games.
Yeah.
Epic.
Generally
doing
pretty cheap as well,
And if you get Game Pass for PC, you don't have to step into the world of what console do I want, because Sony are now releasing their exclusives on it as well.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I was.
You can emulate a Switch on it because the Switch is just a calculator with a screen.
Yeah. So thanks for the question, Craig.
Thanks, Craig.
And Mabel's also asked, do you think there's too many shooter games, zombie games, or space games?
Too many?
Do you think there's too many shooter games, zombie games, or space games?
I think that comes down to what AAA studios think make money.
I mean, like, you kind of just described Dead Space, if I'm going to be honest. One go.
Callisto Protocol.
Callisto Protocol, yeah. I think, like...
Zombies are always overplayed. I think zombies have been overplayed for a long time. And I think we're at a bit now where zombies are...
back in fashion. Dying Light to it.
But they're now going, how can we make zombies different? How many different ways can we make zombies now? And how can we not call them zombies?
Yeah, so that there's something new about them.
Like Last of Us.
But space games? No, give me more space games. Shooting games.
That's too ingrained in gaming.
Aye.
Shooters are never going to go anywhere. You know?
Yeah, because like if you look at like what they've just done with like GoldenEye, bringing that onto Xbox and that as well.
Do you know what still annoys me about that? No online gaming for the Xbox, even though they like. Who wants to play online on a Switch?
Yeah,
no one.
Do you know what bothers me about the Xbox?
Loads of stuff.
Loads of things. Like it's in 4K, but we had that.
That bothers you, does it?
It does bother me because like
how big are these pixels?
They're so big. The thing that bothers me about it is that they had a perfectly good Xbox arcade version of GoldenEye, and we've all seen it because
you've all played it.
We've
all played it on stream.
Played it, and we were just like, "This is great." They fixed the mechanics, they reskinned everything. It was like they could easily just use that, but they won't. And I don't know why, because it's given the worst experience to consumer. I think as well. Like as much as nostalgic, it hasn't aged well. It has not aged well.
I don't know why in my head I thought this was a remaster.
No.
Is it just a re-release?
It's re-released the N64 version that's on Xbox.
In 4K?
It was achievements, mate.
You got me there.
That was like the first thing I checked. I was like, that'd be fun to play, but and then I was like, is there achievements? Yeah, okay, download.
Is there one for very hard?
I never actually looked through them. I just saw that there were achievements, and I was
there's a level that I fucking despise.
It's the scientist one.
It's the one where you have to protect her as she's on the fucking computer.
Yeah.
And see, when I was a kid, I used to get so mad I'd shoot her.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not even fucking going fast enough. But like,
this isn't like in the movies where they go, I'm in.
Oh man, like why just re-release it? I don't know. It's all licenses and fucking. And do you know who it probably is? It's probably fucking whoever owns the film license, Eon or whatever for.
Was it MGM?
MGM, Eon or whatever. They'll just be like, we're giving you no money, re-release it.
Yeah. But, I mean, to answer the question, it depends too much. I don't think there can be too much because everyone will like different things.
It's too much marketed.
Yeah, but there's too much zombie things. At least let that lie for a wee while. Space, I mean, that's a setting, so you can have loads of different types of games in space. And shooters, they're just always going to be there. You're never going to not have shooting games.
What we should have is more... see the indie games that are taking off? People tend to copy them again, but they
yeah, like more garden simulators. Like, remember when we watched, was it the E3, they had all the Nintendo Switch one where it was just like, and the garden simulator, and a garden simulator.
Square Enix, you know what you guys need? You need more simulations about growing stuff.
Stardew Valley?
More
what about
farming?
Stardew Valley 2? What about Stardew Valley but with Square characters?
You want some farming simulator, bruv?
Not really.
Like, no, that's a job.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to work.
I want to relax.
As I say, like, playing Football Manager all the time. Actually, like, that is the game I put most money, like, because I forgot it came out in November, because I don't know why, but like, I was like, the new Football Manager out. Started playing it, and then Sinead's like, by the way, it's 11 o'clock, and I'm like, oh, it was 1 o'clock not long ago. Like, Sinead, I just took Dumbarton to the Champions League final. She was like, I do not care.
I'm hungry.
She honestly hates it. See, when I went to buy it on the Android store, she was like, no,
please don't.
And I'm like, look, Sinead, it's either this or I make you watch anime. And she was like, buy your game.
At least then, she doesn't have to suffer anime. I get it, Sinead, I get it.
You would love anime.
Nah.
You fucking would.
Chainsaw Man was fine, right?
You still got to watch those last 3 episodes, then we've got to do a wee episode. A wee special.
Like, I need to catch up with it.
Mate, you do. It's watch the English and the Japanese if you get time, because they're quite different, but both are really good.
I have heard it's like very...
I'll give us an incentive, right, to watch the final episodes of Chainsaw Man for myself, you to watch it, Dom. It means if we're going to do an episode on that, we can take a week break from Scorpion King movies.
Oh, yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I'm seriously thinking about watching 3 and 4, them all like one after the other as fast as I can and making notes.
Aye, as long as you know what we're talking about. See if you're confusing them up while we're talking about them, then.
I know, that's the other thing. Like I think
going fresh, maybe just to like have them preset to go and just watch it, and then go right.
Mate, my fucking brain was doing this. I was going find someone else that reviewed it on YouTube.
Just copy them verbatim.
Well, I was like, no, I need to suffer through this pain.
You do. I think like
champions are made in the gym, sitting on the couch watching Scorpion King.
Or talking about how they're going to punch up YouTube boxers.
Mate, I'd fucking batter most of those YouTube and like I might do the fucking.
There we go. We're back to the start.
There we go.
Yeah, you ever see wrestling where you used to be like click R3 for interference?
Yeah,
that's me. I'm interfering. And, like,
it was always X-Pac. It was always X-Pac that came out.
And no one likes X-Pac.
X-Pac Heat, mate.
Is he dead?
No, he's still alive and kicking.
Were you going to feel bad if he was?
No. So like, Rory asked me if I wanted to watch the Royal Rumble, and I was like, Rory, I don't even think I know anybody in the Royal Rumble, but Edge was in it and stuff like that still, but like I'm so far away from knowing what's going on in wrestling now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about the same. Like, it's just
Vince McMahon alive.
Well, how is he back in
money,
WWE, mate?
Anyway, before we get on to like more tangents.
Oh, that's true. Sorry, we don't want to tangent.
How long have we been recording?
Like almost 2.5 hours.
Oh, that's enough.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think we'll wrap it up there. Have you got anything you want to say to the adoring fans that have made it this far, Dom?
Thank you very much for listening to us. We appreciate you every single day.
Hugh, can you top that?
Why would I want to?
Hugh's always on top.
No one made it this far.
We might have.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah.
Prove me T-shirt says that. Prove me wrong.
If any of you want to call me out for it, call me out for it.
And then, any influencers want to call them out.
Honestly, except, I see fucking like some boxing influencers.
One of the decent ones.
Like Andrew Tate calls me out or something like that. I'd do it. I'd get battered.
Yeah, for the money and,
for
the clout.
Even just to land one good punch on him, I'd be like, yeah, it was worth it.
Just go for a low blow.
My mediocre wrestling jiu-jitsu skills just like take him down and be like, hopefully it works, hopefully it doesn't kick me in the head.
Hopefully no one stops me, like grabbing him in a kickboxing fight.
I wouldn't agree a kickboxing fight.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, thank you anyone who
It'd be
made
like
it
the
this
end of
far.
Rocky 5.
What, with the rope? No, that's Rocky 3.
It's on the streets, mate.
Yeah.
I'm a street fighter.
Yeah, I didn't know well.
That just means when he kicks you in the head and you fall on the ground,
That's
you
Mega
get
Man.
more brain damage, mate.
So I was listening to you, but that was Mega Man.
That was it. It was supposed to be Rocky.
It was No. It was maybe Street Fighter.
It was supposed to be Street Fighter. I thought it was supposed to be Rocky, but you fucking did Mega Man.
It was Mega Man, and I was like, oh no, wait, that's still Capcom. It's still Capcom.
He's got it.
You see why I try not to let these go on for so long?
I know. Sorry, Amy. Say your goodbyes.
Yeah, thank you everyone for listening. If you do want a shorter podcast, which I can't blame you, then check out our Scorpion King ones there. We get them over as soon as we can, so we can just erase them from our memory. So
then we're going to make Hamish watch Dragon Ball after this. We're going to do it by art.
Right, let's not.
We're going to
let's not go there. Okay.
We're going to do it by art.